intersection of Mbagathi Link and Mawinzi roads. She was rushed to Kenyatta National Hospital where she was pronounced dead on arrival. DCI Director Mohammed Amin says detectives are analyzing CCTV footage and other evidence as investigations continue. Dr. Mutiso's body has been moved to the Kenyatta National Hospital mortuary for a post-mortem. Health services were disrupted in several public hospitals across the country yesterday following a nationwide strike by nurses under the Kenya National Union of Nurses. In Kericho County, nurses and midwives downed their tools, blaming the county government for failing to implement a return-to-work agreement. Kericho Kenya National Union of Nurses Secretary Geoffrey Taru spoke on the matter.
Our demands remains clear and reasonable and long overdue. 1, we want full implementation of our return to work formula of the 2017, conclusion and implementation of collective bargaining agreement that are stalled in the national negotiating team, which was stalled by the Council of Governors. We need a fair career progression and timely promotions.
Kuna muuguzi ambayo anafanya kazi kwa contract hapa Kericho County for the last 7 years. Hivi karibuni wa mshahara wao ilisimama na wamekaa miezi 4 bila kupata mshahara na wametezeka, wamepitia hali ngumu. Tunaomba serikali ingilie kati ili hii shida itatulie kwa haraka.
In Kisii County, the nurses urged residents to seek treatment at alternative health facilities as the strike continued.
Government, and they know very well that we are in fight with the Council of Governors. Anything that they have goodwill to the nurses of Kisii County, let them direct it to the Council of Governors to solve the stalemates.
We are not going to go back until the collective bargaining agreement has been signed and approved by the SRC so that we enjoy the fruit of our CPA. So I want to state clearly, we don't have an issue with the county government of Kisii. Someone who may want to say maybe we have politics, we have been used to taint the image of the Kisii county government. We want to say we don't have any other issue. These issues we have highlighted here, they are directly to the Council of Governors.
Meanwhile, in Uasin Gishu County, nurses led by Branch Secretary Glenn Kimutai and Nancy Chemweno called on the government to promote staff, particularly those who have served for more than 6 years.
Wauguzi musilale, lale lale, wauguzi musilale.
Tumeenda mgomo ili governors implement CBA yetu. CBA ambayo imechukua muda mrefu sana kutoka 2017 hadi wakati wa sasa. Tunaeleza wagonjwa wetu kwamba sisi wauguzi hatuko mgomo. Mtu mwenye ako kwa mgomo ni serikali. Na hakuna hospitali ambayo iko under the county government of Uasin Gishu inafanya kazi. Wagonjwa wote tutawadirect waende labda kwa hospitali za kibinafsi ama waende Moi Teaching and Referral. Lakini hospitali zote za county zimefungwa na wauguzi hawako.
Governors have raised concerns over the high cost of training health professionals, saying counties are not getting value for money. Speaking at the Devolution Conference in Garissa County, the governor said many of the trained professionals are rarely available in public hospitals, despite significant investment in their training. Mombasa Governor Abdul Samad Sharif Nasir spoke on the issue.
Tunataka madaktari wetu waende kusoma. Wakienda kusoma lazima mshahara unaendelea kulipwa. Ile sheria vile inavyosema katiba ni kwa mambo ya training ichukuliwe na serikali kuu. Sisi wakimaliza training tuwachukue kama specialist katika departments zile ambazo kwamba zilioko.
And that's the news. I'm Sheila Tembur.
.5 Spice FM Kisumu.
If we just gloss over issues and hope that time heals, then we might find that in generations to come, we might be back at the same situation. And the whole thing is born of stolen elections.
Spice.
When it comes to the decisions you make, you must be independent. There's no way you can allow one institution to dictate to you how you're going to conduct your operations, how you're going to decide cases. It's a no.
When you weaken the institution to the point where they cannot take action, then you realize that politicians have to come up and now start dealing with the issues.
That conversation has to die. Our politicians do not like the hard stuff. We must insist on the path of doing things right, whether popular or unpopular.
Money changes hands. That is a fact. If you have political goodwill at the highest top, like in Rwanda, then corruption will be an issue of the past. If you don't have political goodwill at the top, we will pass laws, we will amend laws, we will continue passing laws and re-amending laws, and nothing will happen.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Baba should disown these experts and say they went there on the, because he keep on telling us that these experts just came from Dubai and he found them there already at State House looking for jobs.
Government has to has to introduce austerity measures. It's something that this government and the previous ones have not been able to do in this country. We've talked about it so many times.
And really, I think you have seen the modus operandi of William Samoei Ruto since he came in. It's just showbiz.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Members of parliament, they go to State House, they just promised they get given tea, mandazi, and 100,000. That's not development.
External borrowing, 589 billion. Are we on the same page? What did Parliament pass?
If anything happened to our president today, God forbid, that man would become president. Na ndio alilenga hizo stories za Shakahola.
The real thing is our constitution has only one person who is accountable to us.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
I am also a publicly elected official. Okay. My salary is paid by your taxes.
Yes.
So if you need me to answer questions, we will not run away from you.
Asante
we will always be here.
The government itself is engaging in corrupt practices. That the government itself deliberately schemes to influence through bribery members of parliament.
You pay for a passport online. If you're told there are no booklets.
I rebuke matters corruption because corruption has brought this country to its knees.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
SRC's mandate is constitutional. It's not an advice. It's actually something you must do.
Must do.
Like now you abandon, of course, the narrative of Wheelbarrow, Mutuamjengo, Mamamboga, and all those, that rosy narrative.
Your expenditure is 3.3 trillion and you're collecting only 2.5. Out of that 2.5, you're spending 1.8 trillion to service loans and so forth.
That the CDF kit, it's itself a symptom of corruption.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Presidency is fairly interesting in the sense that it will actually take us to a new consciousness.
Swali zile watu waulizi na swali muuliza na shangala ni aje kwani huku kunaendaje?
30 billion shillings annually on travel alone in public service.
A Kenyan can even demonstrate every single day of his life that Ruto must go. That is the only message of his demonstration. That is his right.
That bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and subverts the cause of those who are in the right.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Haya. Ngoja kwanza. Wamefanya ile kitu tena. Ako wapi? Mbona watu hawanipendi? Sijui hawataki kusikia sauti yako. Hebu sema tena.
Sasa
Hapana. Hapana.
Sawa basi.
Nada. Hiyo ndio simu. Try again.
So this is 1, 2, 3, right?
Hata haiko.
Hello?
Ama kuje kaa hapa karibu na mimi tuongee. I think so at this rate.
Hapo kanda yako. Nisonge.
No. We just put the mic on. That's all. Huh?
Iko sawa?
No. Haiko sawa.
Bado? Okay. Sasa.
But we will turn it around ndio irudi laini. Si ndio? Tafadhalini. Good morning. How are you?
Fresh.
Uko salama?
Kabisa.
We've taken a few minutes
to... No, I'm not.
Okay. Why?
Sema Giza.
Giza. And Giza is not a place in the Middle East.
You guy.
How are you? Apart from the darkness?
Apart from the darkness.
Tunataka power.
I can see. That phrase now makes sense. Tunataka power.
Somebody should have gotten on something.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Mwenye alikanyaga waya tuambie nini alikuwa anafanya. Yeah. But it was good.
It came back. There's some parts of the country where it's not back from what I understand. There's some people still don't have power this morning.
Even in my neck of the woods, there's some places where
there's none.
They don't have power.
So that was interesting because suddenly it started. I was like, okay, somebody trying to get romantic up there in the sky because it just started dimming, kidogo.
Because I was watching television, then it's the TV that first went short. Then I'm like, what happened? What's happening? Before I finished,
si tokens zimeisha.
Si tokens.
Tokens Kenya nzima.
Tokens za Kenya Power zimeisha. They need to reload their system.
They needed to buy their tokens.
Engineer Dereva, what happened, brother?
But it was interesting to see that within a number of hours they were able to get that back. You know what? I'm not making comparisons, but power out for an hour plus in some other countries, people are in court this morning.
You're talking about...
People are in court this morning because, all the industry that needs to run on power, hospitals,
schools,
things like that, businesses. And then you go out and then boom.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, people wake up in court in the morning and they're in court.
I remember there's an uncle of mine who gives me a story. There's one time in Manchester, the power did not go. It just dimmed. That alone made the person in charge to leave office.
To go home?
Because of explanations that would come later. Because one would ask, my person is in ICU. Depends on machines. So what reason would you give me if that person leaves? You leave and?
You leave.
Yeah. So that someone else can come and do a better job. Kenya, hello.
I know there was a general fault. I'm not. I just when I saw the communique, I didn't even bother. I was just like, okay, whatever. And then see the power is now it's back. So you don't even bother to see what the explanation is. But perhaps we should.
We should
see
get
what the problem was. I mean, they gave it, but I was just a bit too, I don't know, wary to then go and find out what was going on.
Have we gotten used to such things,
I think so.
I think we've gotten used to something that we shouldn't.
It's an indictment even on me because I was like, okay, I don't even want to know what the reason was. They came back a couple of hours later. See, sai tuko na stima tusonge. That's how I was thinking. Like, and I thought to myself, like, really, this is how it shouldn't be that way. That you should actually be demanding and asking questions. It seems like an irritating thing to do. But you see these people in America, the pothole in the wall.
Thank you.
There's a pothole today. That there's still a pothole tomorrow. Somebody's asking questions. Somebody's writing a letter to the elderman. Somebody's saying, excuse me, what's going on with this? It's either two things happen. They get so irritated with you that they get it done, or they realize that they have to get it done and they do it.
True.
Because the system actually then does work.
Imagine if you had a patient or you had medication that has to be frozen. Then power does kaboom. What happens?
The person dies. I mean, let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have a backup. You don't have backup power.
Yes.
And in a facility like that, which you should, but okay, if you don't, then the person dies. I think we just have to come to terms with those realities. That's what the case would be.
Yeah.
So when you say, okay, mtu alikanyaga waya, alafu kidogo, wamerudisha, tuko sawa, hakuna mtu amekufa.
We should get used to the best standard there is possible. that when such things happen, this should be like the breaking news of the day, like power outage across the country.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
It is.
Yeah.
But that's where we are.
That's where we are.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're wearing 2 shades of blue.
Yes.
Do you know what they're called?
Baby blue and dark blue.
Which one is dark blue there?
This one.
Okay,
Sky
the one
blue.
that's darker than the baby blue.
Yeah, baby blue and sky blue.
Ah, well done, well done. You've not done too bad.
Let me tell you. See what I'm wearing
At least
today?
you didn't say purple. Do you know
This
there's
ju-
some people would have said, you see, that's purple.
Let me tell you. These, my dad used to wear these when I was in high school.
Allah.
So
Either
does
you
the
guys have
pants.
really good detergent or you don't grow much.
So does the pants as well. So today I'm just wearing my dad.
Oh, okay. Well done. Okay. Your dad used to wear that when you were in high school.
When I was in high school, yeah.
Howdy doody. Okay. Okay. Good morning, everybody. At 6:15, we're into it today. Dennis Aseto is wearing the blues that Mr. Aseto used to wear when he was in high school. And that we have so established. Today, she was not lurking at midnight. Today, she said, you know what? This beauty does just not come by itself.
Yeah.
We have to sleep a little bit so that now the beauty can be enhanced. Marion Barasa, good morning.
Good morning.
I came with Skitty. She's very quiet. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Well done. Regina is here. She's got her hair all on top of her head.
Yeah.
Looks really nice. And JB, good morning to you. Everybody, good morning. And we're getting into it today. I'm looking for Kevin.
Okay, he's here.
Anybody seen Kevin?
Raise your hand.
If your name is Kevin, and you're here, raise your hand. Okay. I'm feeling a little bit of a hubba coming on.
Hubba.
I'm feeling it in my head somewhere. Shindwe.
Don't worry.
I'm just going to go and soak myself in lemons.
I'll give you some eucalyptus crystals as well. So you just dip it in water and then you
I had some of those and then they finished. So I think I need to go soak my head at some point today. Plus I have a lot of work to read. So I don't know. I'm just telling you my woes. Lazima nisome nimalize hii wiki.
I should be going to London to graduate though.
You should be going to graduate. What are you waiting for? Money.
There's money.
Why are people not inviting us for your graduation to come and do Owambe?
Okay, we'll go.
Do you know what Owambe is?
Yeah.
Owambe is party.
Yeah.
Okay. Aseto is graduating.
Anyway.
Let me tell you, when I finish this thing, let me see anybody calling me Nduh just anyhow. I can never agree. You see me, Doctor.
Doctor.
I will not agree. You must. There's no other way. Happen to Tuko. Good morning, everybody. Once again, we're having conversations today in the Situation Room, and thank you for being here this Thursday on certain things that we will have. Our Justice Thursday conversation will be a combination of things today because we're looking into the legality of things. And you were just chilling, and then IEBC said, wait a minute. Those of you who like to watch the live transmissions of the election results, we're actually thinking that we're going to do what KPLC did yesterday. We're going to switch it off. And people are saying, excuse me? No, sir, Mr. Ethicon, that cannot be the case. What do you mean you're going to do that? So that what can happen? You see, speculation now is rife. When you say you're going to do that, what is it that you're planning? Even if you're not planning anything, everybody thinks that you're doing what? You're planning something. So, Wakili Njiru, Degwa is going to join us this morning to have that conversation. What does it actually mean when IEBC thinks that maybe they will switch off live transmission of election results come 2027? Do we know what that means? Upon what premise did they say that this is going to happen? And then what does it actually portend when you're looking into an election where people rely on staying glued to their TVs, toothpicks holding their eyes up to see what is going to happen? So let's talk about the legality of all of it. And that's the combination of our Justice Thursday conversation today. All right. To Batuk or not to Batuk? And that whether training exercises continue or whether the British training post in Laikipia is going to stay open, whether the licenses have been renewed, what it means for you to have or not have this in Kenya, and whether it's time to close the curtains on that or whether somebody has been held by the short and curlies to insist that Batuk remains open.
Yeah.
Okay. Ahmed Hashi is a foreign policy advisor expert. He's going to join us at 8 o'clock for that conversation, because what exactly does it mean? The French also are doing a little bit of a diddly-dat, whereby they have their own base. Kenya is just like, anybody want to train?
Yeah.
You get a training ground. You get a training ground. Everybody gets a training ground. And we're saying, okay, what exactly does that mean? We'll talk about that with Ahmed Hashi at 8 o'clock today. Marion, that should be fun for you to follow him this morning, but we will do it all the same. And I know that he's heard me, so he's going to probably come and ask me why I'm taking jabs at him this morning. All right. Okay, so that's the conversation we'll have at 8 o'clock. We'll finish it off today with a conversation at 9 around bringing species back. Did you know that the largest land bird, non-flying bird, was actually on the African continent, mostly localized to Madagascar and Mauritius, known as the dodo? The largest, not largest, the second largest after the ostrich. It's so since extinct. Now, science, communities, and partnerships driving wildlife recovery is the conversation that we will have this morning with Dr. Robert Arujo, who is the head of the Mount Kenya Wildlife Conservancy and the co-chair of the IUCN Antelope Specialist Group. Did you know that there was such a thing? Oh, now you do. We'll be having that conversation at 9 o'clock. Perhaps certain species that you want to bring back. So what does that mean? Putting something in a petri dish in a lab? I don't know. But we'll talk about that with Daktari at 9 o'clock. Sawa?
Yep.
That's what it looks like today. Keep pinching me because my head is closing by the minute. The hubba. Okay.
It'll be interesting on that conversation to just also get to understand different species that is in the antelope family, if that's a thing. There are many.
There are many.
There are many.
There's the buck. There's the dick. Why is it that
there is the gazelle.
There's the kudu.
Yes. See? There are many.
There are many. All right.
In other words, wanasemanga ndio mbuzi wa
the wild.
Good. Anyway, let's go to the proverb.
All right.
It also touches on animals, yeah? But this one now also resembles people that you live with. Now, the proverb comes from Malawi. Like Malawi, 20% covers 20% of the landmass in the country. Beautiful sunsets, you go there. Beautiful sandy beaches on a lake, you go there, right? Different species of fish in Lake Malawi, pretty much across the world, you get there. But let's go to the proverb. Most snakes crawl on the ground, but there are some snakes that walk upright and speak English.
My mother used to say.
Daktari.
Daktari used to say.
Yeah.
See, the devil doesn't always come around in red horns and a cape.
Yep.
Yeah. That evil might be just resident right amongst you. That you think that evil will come and it'll tell you that it's evil. Because, of course, looking at what the snake represents in African tradition, African culture, is that the snake holds some kind of evil connotations to it, right? That you're not... In African traditional, context, we're not welcoming a snake the way you do a dog, for example, to be your companion, take you whatever, or guard you. That a snake, if it slithers in, brings some kind of evil connotation with it. So you're assuming that every evil connotation then is going to come in the being of a snake. It's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
There could be a snake sitting beside you or sleeping in your bed.
Talking in English. And telling you, come baby, come. Anyway.
Yeah. Just be aware.
Be aware.
Yeah.
Be aware of your surrounding. When others say someone could be hugging you, but they have a knife at your back. That's exactly what you see.
Truest.
Yes.
Truest. Karibuni sana as we look into what others will have to say about that proverb. Particularly interested to see how they will interpret that today. So Karibu, our live streams are up on YouTube, Facebook, and on X. Dennis Aseto, Nduh, Okoh in the Situation Room with you this morning. We will comfort the afflicted and will afflict the comfortable. We will have the conversations that you don't necessarily want to have, or that you think these are not so interesting, but that bear something on you, on government, on society, on justice, across the board. we will not just talk about the politics, we'll talk about everything and how it's important. So thank you for tuning in this morning. Our live streams are up on YouTube, Facebook, and on X, and we can see you getting into the room this morning. We are tuned in on terrestrial radio around the country, the region, and the world. Karibu sana, and for joining us on our live streams this morning, as well as a good morning to our audience tuning in on KTN. All right, as we get into it, let's say hello to you, and of course, thank you already for tuning in this morning, and we can see you. A very good morning to you, Peter Kiari, tuned in from Mombasa today. Lovely to have you in the room. Do everything with a good heart and expect nothing in return, and you will never be disappointed. Very true. I had a meeting, a quick meeting yesterday with Wakili Mashari and Jeru, and that's what he said. He said, you know what? You actually lose nothing to just be a good person, to not rile up anything. Just it pays. It doesn't take anything.
Imagine it doesn't.
It doesn't take anything from you. And I think that's the currency that you can pay in for peace. That's a good one for us to remember, Peter. Henry Acceptor said, good morning, Spice family. Is it just my friend? He has been trying to pay his tokens, but he's not going through since yesterday. May the issue get resolved ASAP. Well, there was no power. So that could explain why they were not going through. There was no power around Kenya.
Or maybe they thought that token ilikuwa, so they tried to buy tokens.
So maybe that was the reason.
But maybe also the system could be down. So if that's the case,
true,
then Kenya Power fix that.
It could be a glitch. So maybe he needs to give them a ring. Right? Eunice Okello says, good morning, Spice team. Robert Mbogo is tuned in this morning from Mombasa. Very good morning to you. Nashon Goge says, good morning, Nduh and Dennis. It's disheartening when you see hospitals with patients in ICU on machines being impacted because they don't have a backup generator. Just saw a clip of a hospital in GSA in this state. In this state is which one? Oh, GSA is what? Garissa. Ah, okay.
I think so.
I see what you mean. Brian Rono says, good morning, Nduh and Aseto and the entire Spice team. Have a beautiful day ahead. Thank you very much. Leo says, hello, Princess Nduh and Aseto. Is electoral justice on the line with the proposed amendments of the Election Act to stop live streaming of the election results at the polling station? Yes.
Is there a requirement?
I don't know that if it's a requirement to have that done,
but
at the same time, it's something that has been set, and that when you have to go and change the law to remove it, the immediate question is whether there's something that you are trying to hide. This is why IEBC has to be sensitive to the atmosphere. As one Justice Isaac Lenaola keeps saying, even when we're making judgments, you're thinking about what's going on around you. If you want to come and do something like this, people are already asking, so what are you cooking back there?
You know, what as well many are expecting is the conversation around the BOMAS. You know, the National Tallying Center as well. There has to be communication around that, around the server as well.
Yes.
Cleaning the register. So all these things must happen.
Jose is inside.
Jose Camargo is still there.
He's inside, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so when it comes to auditing as well, how are Kenyans part and parcel of the auditing process for them to be sure that everything is up to par?
Very true. Baba Three Girls is smiling at us. We're smiling back at you. A very good morning to you. Simon Kibiru says, good morning, Nduh, Aseto, and the entire Spice family. We thank the Almighty for a new day and new opportunities. Happy Thursday. And to you too. Kimiya, good morning. You say we need independence of our institutions. Case in point, NCIC. And that is why the incumbent must go. Because nothing good will come out of the Kenya Kwanzaa administration. And Jeno, what's up with your mic? To make Tengeneza. Iko, working on the rest.
Yeah.
Sawa. Joe says, good morning. Abu Dhabi is tuned in. A very good morning to you. Osana Mark says, good morning, Spice. Listening to you makes my mornings. How do we make university education free when we are not able to make primary and secondary education free? Does it make sense? It does not.
It does not.
The same reason why you're not making it free in primary and secondary, guess what? It's the same reason why you're not making it free in university.
Yeah.
It is the model and actually implementation then that needs to change. Mark Mwangi says, good morning, Nduh and Aseto. Northeastern are not boarding. Duale should not stop drilling Ruto's ship. They will both sink.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Wanda, good morning, Nduh and Aseto from Toronto. You can get solar power at home. At least you can keep your TV and lights on and you can charge your phone rather. Yeah, a lot of people are into that. Having a solar panel that can do the basics for you and that going that way and doing it privately. You don't have to go through some, big company. Sure. People are doing it. It's happening for a lot of folks. I would actually encourage people to do it.
Yep.
Get something for solar. It's safer. It's cheaper. It's more reliable.
But you see now, like, I'm just thinking people living in apartment blocks now. That becomes a little bit complicated because then solar panel, where do you put it?
No, they're the little ones, right?
The little ones.
They're little ones that look something like this, that can power up a few gadgets, and that you could use. Now what you have is a backup battery that holds power.
I think it's a conversation we need to have as a country, because I know there are also the portable ones where you can just have that solar at your balcony and it charges. So perhaps then we need to take that fight to government, incentives, reduce taxes, so that it's affordable to the people, because these can be allowed.
You wrapped that up real quick, didn't you? Miss Pia says, good morning, Spices. Finally, Kimiak was found. Best of Thursday. Yes, he was. He had some gadgetary issues. D Combo says, good morning, lovely ones. I wonder how politicians love to yap that Kenya is a first world country, yet it has a national blackout. Kenya is far from being a first world country. Let's just say it. I mean, hurt somebody's feelings, do whatever you need to do. But if you go, let's say, if you go to the first world and see what's happening and how things operate, you will understand how far away on this African continent we are. Not that is what you should strive. You want to be like them, and that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying there are little things that we need to do here and there. That when you see it, we are so. God in heaven, we are so far.
Let me tell you,
and it is just because of this. Not anything else. We choose not that we are less intelligent. We just choose not to do it because we want to eat the goose and the egg.
And the egg as well.
Yeah.
You're working somewhere, you have sewer system running around. Ask yourself what first world countries do when a sewer blocks. Because they're thinking about health emergency, how expensive it's going to be for the government to deal with that, because they're going to get sued. Now ask yourself, Kilimani, just even in any other state, sewer flowing is the order of the day. Your leaders pass there every day.
See, I'm in Machakos yesterday. See, they came and arrested people yesterday. They arrested people for doing what? For throwing affluents out on the road. So tell me, people are throwing affluents because they don't have a proper sewer system. Then you want to come and tell me that you are going to... I beg, look, just don't even annoy me this morning. I already have a Homer. Just irritating me.
Georgia Dimu.
Hey, Bana. So... George, good morning. You said Rongo is listening. Jeff says, good morning, blackout Singapore. Apple. G Kenya says, good morning from Singapore, no power. Unaona sasa Kenyans, you guys. Hey. Eric Owar says, good morning, guys. And Morris Angwara says, good morning. Tuning from Mombasa. I said to the blue, like dad, like son. Yes. Dirosi Kevin says, I'm here. We're glad that you are. Good morning to you. Paul Olaka is also tuned in this morning. Christina says, good morning. See, next week, invite Babo Wino. We shall see what we can do. Eric Yoga says, good morning, Wangwana. You look lovely. Santisana. Heading to Migori, where most MPs refuse to. Aseto and...
Ayuga. Yes, we were told Migori only one MP has a degree, and that is my MP.
This is one for you. It's your...
My MP.
Sasa, now you are claiming him. The
rest. George, please, George Adimo, deal with your issues.
Good morning, SpiceFM says Tibbs Muge. Now, new research links sugar to a 43% increase in dementia, especially if sugar was fed to individuals below 2 years old. Well, that's scary. Mandy African says, good morning. IEBC chose violence. I'm telling you, they're playing with fire and we're not hiding. They're not hiding their bias. Shindwe. Yes, they are. Wanda says, maybe switching off live results might be the precursor to switching off the internet like your neighbors. Watch and pray that doesn't happen. You have to start talking about it now. Good morning, SMG. Oh, Ninani Sasa?
Standard Media Group.
Oh! Told you my brain is not working. Today, I choose to remain silent and just listen to the show Kimya. Okay, sawa. Osana Emily says, good morning. Kenya is a country playing in its own league. That's like, you're this team, you're the other team, you're scoring your own goals, you're scoring for the other side. I get what you're saying. Morris, we see, wow, the Malawi proverb, where you think there is no evil, be sure that there is never trust. Yes. Mashari Jerry says, good morning, Team Spice, watching from Portland in Oregon. Someone wanted to stop IBC from streaming the 2027 live election results so that they can do their monkey business. Exactly. And still, Ben, and I agree, power outage shouldn't be treated as normal in this day and age. It shouldn't. Not a 2-minute outage, a 2+ hour outage. No, it is not normal. Skipper says, good morning. Government has such a bad reputation that when the lights go out, people immediately suspect the heist is being done. Yes. Ntuflani says, salams everyone, with a blackout and Basile's suggestions. Or Kina Kasongo doing a dry run for heist come 2027. Unaona sasa. Mtuflani. Hey. Beatrice Odhiambo says, good morning. Good morning to you. Thomas Osoro says, guys, good to see you. IEBC's conduct is suspect. Please sensitize Kenyans on these rights on voting and lindering their votes. We're going to talk about it this morning, that's for sure. Kennedy Janja says, good morning, Janja. Says, good morning, baking breads while tuned in fully here in Al Quoz, Dubai. Good morning. We want bread. Bwangi Juma says, good morning, Spice. And Wizzy says, good morning. Eric Moore says, good morning. Can you bring Herman Manure for political analysts? I don't know, man. The man is politically analyzing in his own space.
Herman Manure, they've said, Babu Owino and H.E. Edwin Wetanya Sifuna. Sema watu watatu tutafute.
So we'll do like that.
We'll do.
For now, let's take a look at what's going on with the weather. If it's going to get any bit colder, we're told El Nino will come after this dry spell and it might actually damage crops. Yikes. All right, let's see what's going on the roads, in the air, and then we'll come back and see what's happening in the headlines. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. The weather with SpiceFM.
All right, cloudy conditions in Nairobi at 13. It's 14 and clear into Nakuru, and 13 and partly sunny in Nyeri. Eldoret is clear at 13 degrees and we'll see a high of 25 and a low of 14. Kisumu at 19 going to a high of 28, while it's clear at 16 in Kakamega. Mombasa is partly sunny at 22 and Malindi at 25 is sunny. Into Marsabit at 18 is sunny, while we see clear conditions in Kampala. Dar es Salaam at 19 is sunny, while 10 degrees and partly cloudy in Johannesburg, warming up ever so slightly. It's cloudy at 26 into Lagos, while at 19 London is clear. Partly sunny conditions at 33 in Beijing, and Wednesday night is mostly cloudy in New York at 22. Coming into Thursday, the Big Apple will see highs of 27 and low of 20.
Sugar and spice and everything nice. SpiceFM.
Spice up your life. Chilled Spice. Traffic.
All right, so where are we this morning? With just a little bit of traffic forming at the Pangani underpass. It'll take you out towards Muranga Road on one side, Wangari Maathai on the other. And interestingly enough, that doesn't seem to be much more happening on the roads this morning. The southern bypass looking pretty good, and also traffic coming off of Ngong Road is starting to build up as you get towards the city this morning. A quick look at North Airport Road, and not much happening here, but guess what? Schools are closing, and so we're probably going to see reduced levels of traffic this morning and then getting into the next couple of weeks. But there is some traffic that's coming in from Utawala, that area, and it's going to find its way then through towards Embakasi. The Thika Superhighway is not looking too bad, not for now. So we're keeping an eye on all of this and we're following, but let's talk and keep it moving. SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
Tired of missing out? Want to stay ahead of the curve? Get the facts, the full story, and the truth all in one place with the Standard Group's all-in-one app. Watch live TV, listen to podcasts, stream your favorite radio shows, and get breaking news alerts instantly. Plus, access premium content with the Standard Insider and never miss a beat with the Standard e-paper. Read the Standard and the Nairobian anytime, anywhere, on your phone, tablets, or laptop. No delay, no clutter, just bold, judged, and factual news on demand. And here's the deal. Get a full year's e-paper access for only 7,699 shillings. So why wait? Download the Standard app right now from Google Play or Apple App Store, or visit epaper.standardmedia.co.ke to subscribe. The Standard all-in-one app. Stay informed anywhere, anytime.
As a mother, my formula is simple. Happy change, happy child. And that's the Gentle Care promise. Unstoppable play needs a diaper that stays in place. Gentle Care slip-ons are designed to move with your little explorer to make sure their dreams are as unstoppable as their days. Gentle Care Diaper Pants provides all-night protection. For your child's unstoppable confidence, these offer leak-proof comfort. They let your little superhero leap, laugh, and play as much as he wants. Introducing Gentle Care Diaper Pants.
Turn up the heat with endless entertainment on Star Times. Feel every moment of the action as the biggest leagues reach their thrilling finales. Recharge your monthly subscription to unlock a world of endless drama to enjoy Novella E, now available on your Nyota bouquet. Dive into blockbuster movies with the launch of TNT, your new home of big screen hits. And for the little ones, a world of non-stop fun on Cartoon Network, now on Star Times. News, sports, drama, movies, kids, and reality all in one place. All for you. To renew your subscription, dial *858# for self-service or get in touch with our call center on 0719 077 077 for customer care. Buy a Star Times decoder at any of our deal shops countrywide. Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
All right, so then, what has happened again? Talk.
Me?
Very good.
Oh.
I don't know, I was just confused. Kenya's bold newspaper, The Standard, this morning says, hidden hand. And there are people wearing hats. There is a picture of the president of Kenya, His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, feeding the party leader of ODM cake. They should eat cake.
Is this the point where you say they had their own cake and ate it as well? They ate their own cake.
They can be like, Marie Antoinette. They should eat cake. Eat cake. Too much?
Yeah.
And in the forefront of that is Deputy President Kithure Kindiki and CS for Cooperatives Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya. Now, if a picture could tell 1,000 words, this would be it.
Clash of the deputies.
Deputy President Kithure Kindiki's political fortunes appear to be unraveling with startling speed. Once projecting authority as President William Ruto's trusted lieutenant, he now finds himself isolated, undermined, and stripped of key responsibilities as rivals circle. Yet, the loudest statement is not coming from his critics, but from President William is not coming from his critics, but from President Ruto's silence. As his deputy comes under political assault, Ruto has neither defended nor reassured him, fueling speculation that Kindiki has been left to fend for himself, even as ODM deputy party leader Wycliffe Oparanya's influence steadily grows. Do you remember when the rumors started that there may be something going on with Rigathi Gachagua?
Yeah.
Up until the impeachment and after, President Ruto never uttered a word, said nothing. And if that silence was anything to go by, and the current silence on this particular issue, maybe you want to think about it. Yesterday, it was interesting because Kithure Kindiki posted on his X account pictures of himself and the president, I don't know, doing a walkabout in State House or whatever it was, to show you that, Bado Sisi my boys.
I think there was also a picture doing rounds of him meeting with cabinet as well, the deputy president as well. So,
so you guys are here talking, you think that I'm on the way out, I'm still working.
I was not even cheering governors. I'm here cheering the cabinet. What you mean? But anyway, that silence says something.
Is there a hidden hand?
Yep.
Let me tell you, speculation doesn't come from anywhere.
True.
Or rather, it doesn't come from nowhere. All right, looking into other stories, crop failure, this is a story we were talking about earlier. El Nino follows. Kenya's farmers brace for another disaster. I mean, how much can you take? The bread basket got a huge hit this year. And although the rains will come, which will be welcomed, unfortunately, the kind of torrential rain that is expected is going to be crop damaging.
Yes.
CS for Agriculture, Motai Kagwe says, our national food security has remained stable, though, with improved availability and reduced prices for staple foods. By replenishing the reserves, we are ensuring that farmers benefit from their hard work while protecting Kenyans from future food shocks. While that may be the case, El Nino, the little Spanish boy, says something else, that he will come with this rain. It will be torrential. There's a warning from the meteorologists, and it has cast a shadow over efforts to recover from the losses. El Nino conditions are expected to bring torrential rains that could damage crops and trigger flooding. Presidential hopeful David Maraga has described the expected El Nino rainfall as Godzilla.
Yeah.
Don't know who Godzilla is? Go and check.
I think we need to start having a conversation with farmers around also getting insurance, so that in the event that their crop fails because of natural attrition, so say there is drought, there is El Nino coming, they get to be paid for losses incurred. I think it's a conversation that is rife that we need to have with farmers today, and that has to be spearheaded by the ministry and the government.
Yep. How climate smart financing, rather farming, is making Taita a rice powerhouse, and that's how it's supposed to be. That you can actually grow anything anywhere if you actually decided to do it right. All right. So then, these are national stories here that you can actually, with deliberacy, make some things happen. Deliberateness, make things happen. Revealed. Ruto's hand in Kindiki's tribulations amid tension in cabinet. The tension in cabinet, of course, is because, like I said, people didn't charge their brain-to-mouth filter batteries, so they're talking anyhow, and people are getting upset about that. And then it spills over to the political, which, whether you like it or not, will affect the policy. So you cannot sit together in a cabinet meeting and discuss things and plan things to be implemented in the country when you have bad blood between yourselves. President remains tight-lipped as his deputy is stripped of key role in a letter to the Prime CS, and there's nothing that goes from Felix Koskei that the president is unaware about.
True.
This comes after a humiliating loss for UDA in the Okoh by-election, where it was assumed that the deputy should have helped secure the seat. As like, I gave you one job, and you weren't able to do it, so you know what? Thanks, deuces. It's not happening anymore. But I don't have to say it out loud. I'll show you.
Show you. You'd have to see my hand. Not hear my voice.
He said, and I quote, "You do not build a house, complete it, furnish it, and then abandon it to go and live in the forest. That is not possible. We are not going anywhere. We are in the government to stay." Famous last words.
To stay, too. I would have added that too.
Let's see. Time will tell, as it often does, that not too far from now, the song that's being sung today might not necessarily be the last song. The Auditor General, Nancy Gathongo, has been busy, and she's saying that the budget, she has actually said, there's a growing appetite for public debt. It's like you people like to be owing somebody money. It's like, come on. Do you people enjoy this thing? That's what she says. She's like, you like it. You enjoy your public debt. But she said, effective public debt governance requires transparency. Okay. In borrowing decisions, adequate legislative oversight, comprehensive disclosure and reporting. She's saying that she's raising concern over concealed forms of borrowing, such as tax securitization. Nyakango is also worried that up to 71% of government revenue goes to loan repayment. Yes, now we know. That's how the money is going now.
Securitization.
Securitization of taxation.
So it's hidden.
Yes.
Okay. It's not transparent.
Absolutely.
That means you and I do not know whatever it takes for us to get this debt. All we know is Kenya has taken debt.
You don't even know what they're doing with it. That's it, essentially.
See. These are professionals. The Auditor General and Controller Budget. They know what they're doing. They know what they're saying.
Yeah. So Nancy Gathongo and Margaret Nyakango are saying, you guys, we're going to continue singing this song. Whether you choose to listen or toe the line is up to you. Inside Ruto's bid to court Kalonzo as running mate. You know what?
Yep.
Kalonzo Musyoka has sworn and said, never, never, never will I. Never, ever will I. Have you ever played that game?
Yeah.
Never will I ever. Yeah, I don't know if this is one where you take shots or you do other things. But in this case, it seems as though he's thinking, if I bring this guy on board, after the Matusi I hailed on him, Mashujaa Day 2025. No, Mashujaa Day 2025, yes. And I told him that nothing good has ever come out of Kitui since you were there. Perhaps I can actually see if I can make this guy my running mate in 2027.
Yeah. There's an advance team that was sent,
Yeah, go on.
They met, so.
It's like Joshua and Caleb.
Yeah.
After when Moses was in his sunset years, they sent them to Canaan. And they said, go and see what is there.
Go and survey.
And then others came back and said, there are grasshoppers the size of men. But they came and said, it's a land flowing with milk and honey.
Yeah.
So now this advanced team has gone to the Canaan of Kalonzo Musyoka to see if there are grasshoppers the size of men. Or if there's milk
and how do
honey.
We enter where we have grasshoppers the size of men? What do we feed them? We'll get rid of them.
A very disturbing story. A doctor, a renowned medic, was shot yesterday.
Yeah.
This was not a robbery or they were taking her phone. They assassinated her yesterday in another border shooting. Police are investigating the fatal shooting of Dr. Victoria Mutiso, who was killed at Nairobi's Upper Hill yesterday morning. She was the director of research at the Africa Institute of Mental and Brain Health and was shot dead on Mawensi Road, Upper Hill. She's the latest victim of a shooting incident that took place at around 9 a.m. According to witness reports, the clinical psychologist succumbed to 4 gunshot wounds. I heard this story yesterday evening, just in another group that we were discussing. And I said, okay, so this seems to be the modus operandi.
Yeah.
There's something that you have that I want, or there's something that you're doing that I don't like, so I'm just going to get guys to off you.
Yeah.
How low we have sunk. So who is it? What's going on? There's a lot more, but I'm going to look into the Nation today, and we're getting into the pages of the Standard. Get yourself a copy of the Standard newspaper today. www.standardmedia.co.k is how you can get the Standard e-paper. Sawa?
Yes, let's get to the Daily Nation. Big losers in Sifuna's rise now. A year ago, it would have seemed far-fetched to suggest that Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna could wield enough political influence to unsettle established politicians. But the 44-year-old lawyer, renowned for his gift of the gab, has taken national politics by storm, driving a movement that threatens to disrupt entrenched networks and usher in a new order. Although he has yet to formally declare his presidential candidacy, opinion polls rank him among the frontrunners, with these surge rattling both the government and opposition heavyweights. So on the side of the government is President William Ruto, Professor Kithure Kindiki, the DP, Mr. Wetangula, who's the Senate Speaker of the National Assembly, Mudavadi P, Prime Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Oginga, who is the party leader ODM, and Ms. Wanga, as well, a key leader in ODM. Now, in the opposition, we have Wamalwa, we have Mr. Musyoka, Dr. Matiang'i, Mr. Gachagua, Ms. Karua, and Mr. Nyoro also being highlighted there. Now, looming public health paralysis, nurses have joined an ongoing strike by the other healthcare workers, deepening a crisis that has disrupted operations in public hospitals nationwide. You see? Mm-hmm. So there is a problem in a hospital. It is still ongoing. Why? Because someone has decided not to live by the agreements that they signed. Now, all the healthcare workers are saying, until you fulfill your promise. Wahenga walisema dawa ya deni ni kulipa. Yeah. Row over 20 billion shillings benefits for civil servants and teachers. Now, the government has been sued over insurance benefits exceeding 20 billion shillings owed to families of dead or disabled public servants, including teachers and police officers. Now, a petition before the High Court in Nairobi blamed successive governments for failure to provide monetary insurance cover and settle death, disability, and work injury claims for hundreds of thousands of civil servants. One asks the question, when you depend on such key resource for you to be able to run government, for you to be able to run the country, and you're not meeting your promise, you're not meeting their demands, how exactly do you expect that government to move forward? How do you expect to get to Singapore when the entire workforce in civil service?
I think we shouldn't expect. I'm sorry. I don't think we should expect to get anywhere if you're not doing what you need to do in the first place. So if you're trying to make for example, you tell yourself, so what I want to do is that next weekend I want to travel to the coast and I'm going to do this by train. Okay? Yeah. Now, if you have not bought the tickets, if you have not packed your suitcase, if you have not stood up and made a forward movement, guess what? Then we can't expect you to go. True. I'm sorry. We should stop expecting if you've not done the fundamentals. Can't. It's not going to happen.
Now, members of parliament are backing a bill to control Matatu fares. So lawmakers are closer to enacting a law they say will restore sanity to the public transport sector and rein in PSV owners who exploit commuters. I'm going to repeat this again. We do not have a public service vehicles that's ferry people from point A. We have private individuals offering public service. Let's get that clear. Until that time when government of Kenya decides to have its own managed transport system, then they're able to control fares. Because someone will tell you, what you mean? I'm buying my own fare, maintaining my own vehicle. Taxes are high. Strait of Hormuz is closed. I'm buying fuel at expensive. Someone has to bear the brunt. They cannot do it anyway. NMG Uganda gets regulators not to resume business. So Museveni has said you can operate. Public health paralysis looms as medics strike. That picture right there is a sad one. You can imagine that is a ward that we are seeing and only one patient is there. The others have decided not to show up. Why? Because there are no services being rendered in our hospitals.
Can we talk about the fact that Kizza Besigye collapsed in court yesterday and is now in the ICU because they've held him for the longest time, even though it's now moved from the military court to now a criminal court. That they've held him for the longest time without trial. He collapsed yesterday. If he survives, it'll be a miracle. And I'm just saying, if he dies, it'll be on the hands of the Ugandan government. Yeah.
It's just as it is. And one asks the question, we talk about integration, the rule of law as a region. Regional presidents, what's your say? African Union, what's your say? The big political losers in Sifuna's rise has been expounded in page 4. What Senators Sifuna and associates stand to lose after a reshuffle of House committees? Do they stand to lose anything is the question.
Influence, power.
I think they have more influence without those positions, though.
Did you say that out loud?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Justice sector lays out plans for credible 2027 elections. So REBC boss Barasa's Ethicon to head a multi-agency team tasked with coordinating the justice sector's election preparedness. So that is in page 6. Let's go quickly to page 7. Who pairs with whom in 2027? Opposition's ticket dilemma. So there we have images of opposition leaders just discussing on who then becomes the president, who becomes the running mate. Wanasema kizungumkuti iko sana. Now, MPs support bill seeking to control matatu fares, and we cannot have a country where fare is dictated by the weather and the number of people at a stage. I want to tell Kimilili MP Didmas Barasa that fare is dictated by those who own those property. Government of Kenya does not own the vehicles that ferry people from point A to point B. Until when you have that, then you can control the fare because you will have done what? Set the standard. All right? Until then, hii yote wanasemanga ni moto ya kalatas.
Oh, that's it. That's the phrase I've been looking for since Monday. Where were you, Bana? You were supposed to tell me on
Imefika leo.
Hey. All right.
Yeah.
So you know what? Sasa unataka niendelee? A guy has been bequeathed with a green hat.
Okay.
And Badlisha decamps the DCP amid Mount Kenya shifting tide. And Rigathi Gachagua there is there, placing the hat on his head. And above that, Millie Odhiambo, who remember Caroli Omondi told us the other day, said, I'm asking my sister Millie, what are you still doing? Stop dithering here. But she seems to be saying, you know what, the party is losing support in key bases. She's talking about ODM. Millie Odhiambo's never been one to mince her words. She'll say it as it is, and that's your problem if you can't deal with it. And she's saying, you know what, we're losing support in our key bases, and it doesn't look good. Jitters in ODM over dwindling party fortunes. And the thing about they say is that you might try to hide it, but it is going to come to light. You may not be comfortable. Also say,
if you know, you know.
You know. Okay. You know. Yeah. So of course, Governor Badlisha is Nyandarua County Governor Moses Kiarie Badlisha. He became the newest member of the GCP and decided to move, and he probably moves with his support.
After Kamongo though. Wait. I would also move,
I want to tell you something.
Tell us.
It's not... Marion, when I say something, be listening to me. HIV drug users prone to gonorrhea, a study shows. People taking medicine to prevent HIV are likely to contract chlamydia or gonorrhea than those not using the drug, study shows. Let me tell you something. All in all, you see all of these things?
Yes.
They talk about the chlamydia, talk about gonorrhea, talk about HIV. Just stop it. Just abstain. If you know you cannot control yourself, if you know you cannot protect yourself, abstain. Can you imagine you have HIV, you're using ARVs, then on top of that, now you still go and get another STI on top of that? I mean, for crying out loud. Which one?
Strap it.
We're going to talk about this thing, whether you like it or not. It's uncomfortable, but you know what? People don't need to be walking around with STIs. Not in 2026. We cannot be doing that kind of thing anymore. We have the knowledge, we have the information. We must be protecting ourselves because all these other things, the way you're looking at them is nonsense and what? Oh, man. It's 7 a.m.
Spice up your life. The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning, this is the news. I'm Sheila Timur. The ODM party has reshuffled its representation in Senate committees, a move that could see Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna and Vihiga Senator Godfrey Osotsi removed from key oversight committees. If approved by the Senate Business Committee, Sifuna will leave the County Public Accounts Committee for the Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries Committee, and Senate Minority Leader Stewart Madzayo is set to replace him. Osotsi will also exit the County Public Investments and Special Funds Committee following a vote of no confidence by its members, and is expected to join the Trade, Industrialization and Tourism Committee. Taita Taveta Senator Johannes Mwarume will take his place. Madzayo has defended the changes, saying committee reshuffles are routine parliamentary business and not linked to internal ODM politics. The changes comes as the party continues deliberations on its political strategy ahead of the 2027 general election. The Kenya Wildlife Service has revealed that 15 elephants that died in the past month in Amboseli National Park succumbed to cyanide poisoning after feeding on pesticide-contaminated tomato crops near the park. KWS Director General Professor Erastus Kanga says laboratory tests detected cyanide residues in samples collected from the carcasses. Kivana Wildlife Sanctuary was the hardest hit, with one herd losing 6 elephants. KWS has since intensified monitoring of elephant herds and is urging farmers to use pesticides responsibly to protect wildlife that roam between farms and the reserve.
And there are indications that in those samples that were driven, there are remnants of what we call cyanide. And cyanide is a highly toxic chemical. And particularly for elephants, if elephants consume cyanide, they cannot survive a day or two. Other than local livestock, we have the goats, we have the cattle that are there. Eventually, if this cyanide is truly the one that is in the system, then we are going to see a bigger impact.
The Director of Public Prosecutions, Renson Igonga, has warned politicians against engaging in hate speech and using guns to disrupt political rallies. Speaking in Mombasa, Igonga said offenders will face the full force of the law, describing such acts as a threat to national security, especially ahead of the next year's general election. He added that relevant institutions are prepared to maintain law and order by bringing those responsible to justice.
Anyone found culpable in goonism will be dealt with accordingly. This also applies to the issue of inflammatory statements which are being made by politicians across the divide. We will also, in collaboration with the DCI and NCIC, deal with these kind of characters so that they are brought to book. We only have one country, and that is Kenya. We will not allow some characters with their own issues to influence otherwise good Kenyans.
And police have dismantled a criminal network linked to a series of robberies in Nairobi, arresting 8 suspects and recovering suspected stolen mobile phones and other electronic devices. Nairobi Regional Police Commander Isa Mohamud says one suspect believed to be the gang leader was shot dead during an operation in Joska, Machakos County. Police have also identified one suspect linked to the Saika Chama robbery, with investigations ongoing to trace and arrest other accomplices. The 8 suspects are expected to be arraigned in court.
Central, that is within CBD. Yesterday we carried out an operation and we recovered 50 phones assorted, 201 motherboards, 1 Dell laptop, 39 vandalized phones and assorted phones, 1 smartwatch, 5 tablets, 1 iPad. And the case is before court today.
And that's the news. I'm Sheila Timur.
Spice FM. Nakuru.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
We look at the utterances of leaders who are aligned to broad-based, who are initially in ODM. We thought they stand for something. Now they've been exposed.
Because we are a third world country, we are poor. And not because we don't have resources, but we have been robbed senseless.
Look at the wasteful expenditure. Look at how large government lives. And we've said this is something that can be controlled. It happens in many other countries.
Internally, we used to stand and tell him, boss, hii kitu ni mbaya. And you'd say, now he doesn't, let me tell you, you saw the other parliamentary group meeting. People went there, sat, listened, looked at him. There was no plenary, left.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
You have land, Dennis. Okay, your own land. You use your own money to build it, and then you sell it to yourself.
But we don't want foreign troops on Kenyan soil.
But surely it goes a little bit deeper. This is it.
If you find the tree is withering, then you call the person who is managing that tree. Come around. Why? Tell me what is
first of all, what's the problem?
Yes, what is the problem there?
How do we expect ourselves to move forward as a country?
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Every time he kept on saying he wants a vibrant opposition.
How does it make sense that public money has been used for anything and then they dare to sell it back to you? Why are they not giving them for free?
That's how broken we are. That's how broken we are.
They are being sent home now for fees. They're going to fail to prepare. We are compromising the futures of these children.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
One of the things that are ailing our country is negative ethnicity. You find you as a state officer, instead of thinking as a Kenyan, you think like a tribal person.
Let me tell you something. The biggest problem we have had in this country is a leadership deficit. There is nothing that you are going to do in the process of change if you are not a risk taker. So you really have to pursue your vision to a logical conclusion and even be ready to step on people's toes.
When it comes to the economy, you can run away with it. They say statistics are like bikinis. They reveal a lot, but they conceal the vitals. And so government people would throw statistics at you and tell you they're revealing a lot of information to you, but it's really concealing the real vitals.
We need to get out of that, because when we want to grow our democracy, one basic thing that really requires to be understood by the political class, by all of us, is institutions are critical.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
It's 8 minutes after 7 o'clock, and good morning to you as we get into the second hour of the Situation Room this morning. Wakili will join us in a few, but did we hear that news bite? That we are eating poison?
Yep.
Did it touch you in any way? Because I'm not understanding. We're eating poison in the food that's okay. So that's okay.
Let me tell you. You know, and the saddest part is the authorities know. Because you just have to go back as to why we find it even difficult to send our produce in the international market, like, say, for EU, for example. Why? Because some of the pesticides that we use have been banned in those countries. As much as we still buy from them, but anyway, they're banned. So when someone tells you we cannot have your product enter our market because of what you've used to spray your crops with, which then have carcinogenic components in them, that right there goes to tell you, if it's rejected outside, where is it sold? Internally.
Yep.
And that right there is us consuming poison. There are other places that are watering their crops, especially here in Nairobi, using our rivers. But what do we have in these rivers? You just told us that the individuals who are releasing effluents that end up in rivers, and the farmers who are using the same water to water their plants.
Yep.
That right there is poison you're consuming. There are others who are releasing raw sewer into these rivers. They're using the same water to irrigate their crops. What are we consuming? Raw sewer.
Yuck.
That right there is us consuming poison. Do we know about it? Yes, we do. Does the state know about it? Yes. What are they doing about it? When I ask about standard of quality of everything that it is we deal with, do we have that? Do we have a tracing mechanism saying, Nduh, today you've gone to Ukulima market, you've bought your cabbages or you've bought your sukuma wiki. You think when you go back there, that farmer will be able to tell you where they bought that thing from? Because most of the time they are buying it from middlemen. How do they get the middleman who will then take you back to the farmer who organized everything? We do not have traceability.
There's no traceability. But those are one of the things. You see this place that you people want to go to call the first world. You think it's just a journey that you just stand up and start going somewhere. It's not. That there's certain things that you have to have in place. Look at the thing that you're talking about, the different elements. That in a store somewhere, okay, let's talk about another country. I don't know, pick one. Pick Norway. That if you find a tomato in the store, that tomato, you can actually know
it has a barcode.
You can actually know which farm this tomato came from, which agricultural inputs were put into to grow it, which farmer on which day harvested after. You can find out all the things we're talking about, because then what is it? All of these things are connected, because what does it do? Then you can actually hook into your healthcare system where people know exactly what's going on in the back end. People know if there's something that's making people sick and this is the source of it, so that you can either stop that. You see, the first we're talking about, it's not gigantic bridges and roads. It's systems. It's systems. This first world that you want to go to, it is systems that have been put in place and have been followed to the T. You can have 1,000 bridges, you can have 1,000 dams, you can have fantastic highways, but if the systems upon which these things operate are not solid, you are wasting your time and resources.
Because you see, now we're here talking about we are consuming poison, sour. Let's pack that, right? Now let's go forward and ask, what does this do to the health of the people? Say, take a sample, Nairobi, right? Now, what burden will we have in hospitals in Nairobi to treat people who are consuming this food? That would mean the hospitals as well have a heavy burden, yet we are not even funding these hospitals to be able to handle the burden. You get what I mean? So at the end of the day, whichever way you go, because we failed in streamlining the systems from the word go, we are finding more Kenyans are dying out of cancer. We are seeing the burden in hospital getting even greater, yet all we do is we play politics, we give around very amazing statements that is not backed even by evidence, is not backed by facts. Because you tell me, Nduh, if you're not taking care of your people, making sure they're not getting sick, how do you expect these greatest resource that you have, where 70% of the population are the young people who are now consuming poison, how do you expect them to help you carry this country to Singapore? I keep telling you guys, you see at the shores of Mombasa, you will not leave the shores of Mombasa. Even that ship is not there. You're not getting there. There is no Singapore until you fix your systems.
There's no way.
We have to be a healthy nation.
You have to be an educated nation.
Educated nation. You have to be a truthful nation. You have to be a nation that does not have corruption. You have to be a nation where power outages become a thing of the past. Because for you to get to Singapore, manufacturing has to happen. How do you have manufacturing when you cannot guarantee investors of adequate, reliable power for them to be able to get into your market? I also asked the question, I was just thinking about it. Today, if Kenya Power is asked to come and explain about their distribution, can they give us logs on maintenance of their facilities for us to say we tried to preempt this, but it was beyond our control? You know, because these are questions we must ask. We must stop thinking that when there is power outage, it is okay. Stima tu itarudi even if it's after 2 days. It is not okay. You want to get to Singapore. How are you getting there? Through manufacturing. So tell me today I want to set up, and the place where I want to set up has not had power for close to 6 hours. How am I operating? Convince me to set up a manufacturing plant in that locality.
You can't.
I can't.
You
Then
can't.
what do? I go to the closest country. I set it up there because they have reliable power, and I get to export everything to you. You import. You've lost jobs. You've lost taxes. Why? Because you want to go to Singapore, but electricity and power is not your priority.
I think at some point we just need to get serious.
We need to.
Yeah, and don't even talk about a place where you want to go somewhere. Like I'm not even gonna go far. I'm gonna use that train that you want to use to go to Mombasa, and that maybe you need to start having a conversation about. Let me get a pair of shoes first that's going to help me to be able to walk. That you can't say that you're going somewhere if you don't have the elements of preparedness to then allow you to go there. You must purchase the ticket. You must at least pack a bag, unless you're going to go with a shirt on your back, and then hope that you get there kicking and screaming. That you must even know. You must know the
direction.
You must know where the train station is. Like, okay, in order for me to get there, there's a train station that's going to essentially take me there. This is what I need to do to get there.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we're working from the end and trying to find the beginning.
True.
Whereas the vision is important, because that's what a vision does for you. That you see the whole picture and that you say that's where we essentially want to go. But you don't start building from there. That you can see where you're going, but you start building from here. And that there's certain things that you must put in place, whether you like it or not. Look, come on. And it's something that burdens all of us. But I've found myself really struggling with this thing. Why is it so difficult for us to do things right at the appointed time?
We don't have the intention of doing things right.
The same people who operate in the private sector do it. The same people who operate, and you can't tell me because there's more money or because there's what. The same people, they don't have 2 heads. They don't have 3 ears. Why is it that once you get into a sector that's supposed to then make certain things happen, you feel as though you can't? Look into the private sector. Even in Kenya, in the private sector, people are operating with systems that are akin to first world operations. Why does that happen in the private sector, but it doesn't happen in the public sector? Take your pick. In the private sector in Nigeria, in the private sector in Senegal, in the private sector in a lot of these countries, go across board. In very few countries do you see that the public sector is operating in a way in which it's going to take you in a particular direction. That systems operate and systems operate properly. Take a fast food chain that operates today. They know where they're getting their produce from. They know where the farmers are from. They know what food they've put on the table. So that if I post a picture and say, "Hi guys," and I say, "Look, there's a worm in my food," and then they take it back, they can say, "This is where it came from." It might be a silly example, but it's the traceability that we're talking about. And where does that come from? Systems. If you don't have systems in place, and it's not just about the systems, but that they're operating at an optimal, efficient level, you will not get there. If you don't, you will not get there. And I know that I'm preaching to the choir, but why do we have these conversations? That's why I say, just leave it. Don't talk about getting to first world if your people are uneducated, if your people are sick, if they are hungry. Here we are talking about El Nino coming, and we're just saying, El Nino is coming. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to destroy farmers' crops. And imagine we are telling ourselves that we're telling ourselves that farmers' crops will be destroyed. So brace yourselves for what?
For what exactly?
Brace yourselves for what? For destruction? Okay, how?
Let me tell you. If this is a story that does not worry anyone, where public health paralysis has been there and nothing is being done about it, Nduh. If we are here, we see a member of parliament now is in parliament telling us how they want to control matatu fares, as if they own those matatus, where they're not telling us the options that they are giving Kenyans in terms of a publicly funded transport system that is guaranteed, that is affordable, that is accessible, and that has certain set standards. We are not moving anywhere, because look at all these first world countries where we exist. Public transport is not only just ferrying people from point A to point B. It is equally a security matter. You know what I mean? It is not just about how I'm getting you to work. It is how am I getting you to work? You get what I mean? And we live in a country where we wanted to set standards, but we do not have any implementation mechanisms that will make that happen. Ask yourself, Kenya Airways used to be one great airline in the continent. What happened to it? We mismanaged it. Why is it that today you look at our neighbors, Ethiopian Airlines, and how they're performing? Look at what the government is doing to ensure that that airline does not go under. Look at the investments. Look at the professionalism. Look at the standards they've set upon themselves. Here we are today. Look at expanding the airport. How many times have we tried to expand that airport, but every other thing has failed because of corruption? Here we are saying we want to go to that first world country called Singapore. What did Lee Kuan Yew do when he got in there? He streamlined the systems, the corrupt were dealt with, the rule of law became a reality, systems were set in place, education became a priority, healthcare became a priority, food security became a priority. Having something as easy as having fuel reserves that you can be able to power your manufacturing became a reality. How are we going to this Singapore if we have not sorted out the back end that will then propel these vehicles?
I said you are not going.
Thank you.
Come on, go somewhere else. You are not going. You're not going. Choose another destination. Choose another activity for what you want to do. Choose something else. Choose an activity like education. Choose an activity like healthcare and sort it out here. You're not going to this place, to this destination, because you have not put the things in place. You don't have the elements. So you are not going. Now, you can want to go, and that over time you can show that this is actually where you're going by the things that you do. Now, in that moment, then somebody can say, okay, the way this person is moving, then they've been able to convince me that this is actually where they want to go. Until and unless that happens, I've said you're not going. Choose another activity. This activity that we're saying that you should choose is not travel. You're not traveling anywhere. Sit down and do what you're supposed to be doing in your house. You're not traveling.
You don't do, we're seated here. We've read that story where it's been said, we've had that bite where we are eating poison. Do you know what that does to us in this room? That there's a high possibility, it's not even a possibility, it is a fact that you and I and any other Kenyan is exposed to poison that is damaging their systems, is damaging their life quality of their health in one way or the other, and that is okay with the government, that is okay with the ministry, that is okay with the Ministry of Health and Ministry of Agriculture, and that we should just operate. That we know we are feeding people poison, but that, you know what,
they're not dying.
They're not dying. They're still walking.
The poison that they have is not enough to kill them. So it's okay.
Kidogo. That's how we're operating, Nduh. That's how we're operating. So what we're doing is we're making people sick. The very same people that you depend on to propel this country forward. I mean, at what point does anyone get to position of authority and say, the responsibility that is upon me is to ensure that the 55 million people in this country are healthy, are educated, and are fed. That I will do everything within my power to ensure that the economy is good so that my people can grow. And by them growing, the country is growing. It is not about brick and mortar. Well, that is important. The people must be alive to enjoy these things. You will build stadiums, you will build roads, but if your people are dead, who are you constructing those things for? If 80% or 70% of your people end up in hospital daily because you did not take care of what it is they are eating, you did not take care of the water that is being used to take care of these crops, if you are not doing anything to ensure that El Nino and drought does not affect us, how exactly are you saying, I am a leader of this country and that I pay homage to my people because I'm taking care? You're not.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
I just remember this particular, this story that has brought this about at this hour is about what's going into crop, right? Yeah. And the Ministry of Agriculture has had to fight this. Gladys Boss-Sholay at the time talked about pesticides that were coming into the country that had been banned in some European countries. And she actually raised a bill at the time, a while ago, talking about the fact that people should actually not allow this thing to continue. I wonder if you were to have the conversation with her today about that they're still making their way here and that elements of poison are actually in the crops that people are consuming, what her thought would be about that. We can use the word finally, because finally, Wakili is here.
Yeah, the eagle has landed.
Wakili, good morning.
Good morning, Nduh. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I've been well. God has been gracious.
He has?
Yes, he is. And how about you?
Salam sana.
That's great.
Did you get lost?
Yeah.
You got lost?
I've been around. Up and about.
This morning.
You know, bro, I got in some traffic. There was an accident, a slight one that just caused some bit of congestion. But I was taken care of. I'm really sorry for coming in late.
We're glad that you're here all the same.
Yeah.
And Karibu Sana, because we have questions.
Yes.
And we want you to quickly interpret this proverb.
Yes.
We think we would like it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
The proverb.
Yes.
Most snakes crawl on the ground, but some snakes walk upright and speak English. The proverb is from Malawi. How would you interpret it?
Well, it is taken that the snake is a very sly person. Well, if you could take it biblically from the Garden of Eden, how it was smart in trying to con Eve, then you'll basically see the snakes that are being spoken about are today's politicians. They speak with a sharp tongue, like the snake. So I believe the snakes that walks on their feet are the current crop of Kenyan politicians, incapable of being trusted, and accountable to any person. And you can simply see, even the Standard can tell you, the Standard front page can tell you that there's a snake somewhere in this country that speaks sharp and thinks that's very smart. When the snake wants to bite you and to con you to eat the fruit, the forbidden one, it speaks to you with a very sweet tongue. I remember when it was unveiling His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's candidature for the deputy president, how the snake spoke very well about the qualification and the man that he was. But when the snake bit him, it started saying that he was incompetent. So the snake again on the 20th of or 18th, no, it should be 20th of October 2024. Again, it quoted another man from Tharaka Nithi called Professor Kithure Kindiki. The man spoke so nicely about Kithure Kindiki, how a professor he is, how competent he was, a man whom he trusts, and a man who believes that he's going to afford him an opportunity to steer the country to the greater strength. But you can see today, now the snake is again quoting Oparanya. Oparanya, be careful. You'll still be told the same way, the same words that Rigathi was told, the same sweet-talking words that were told to Professor. Oh, and to you, Oparanya, you trust William Ruto at your own peril. It's a snake, it's a serpent. You trust him at your own peril. And I believe that proverb befits the description of William Ruto.
Okay, you're not mincing your words this morning.
I wouldn't miss my words. He is not a man to be trusted. Oh, and to you, if you think that you're now better. You know, if you find a man who keeps on divorcing his wives, today akona wa kwanza, amemtupa, wa pili, amemtupa, anaenda kutafuta watatu. This man must be the person with the problem. He must be the problem.
It's the man who is the problem.
He's the man who is the problem. They cannot be all those women. You know, you cannot divorce 3 women simultaneously within one period, and a period of less than 5 years.
One would argue that you should not be marrying all 3 of them anyway. But anyway.
Yes. But you see, you trust Mr. William Ruto at your own peril. Okay. Yes.
Kenya's Senate is once again considering a proposal to strip the IEBC of the duty to stream polling station results live as they are announced. It's the Election Laws Amendment Bill 2026, and it's co-sponsored by Senate Majority Leader Aaron Chariot and Minority Leader Stuart Matsayo. It deletes the section requiring the public feed and replaces it with a system centered on electronic transmission of results to tallying centers. So that thing that you see we're all around our TV every day of the the election and we are waiting to see. They're saying, no, we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is leave it at the polling station. I mean, since the results at the polling station are final, is what we've been told.
Yes.
Now, currently, the IEBC must stream polling station results live purely as a public information tool.
Yeah.
It carries no legal weight.
Yes.
You don't have to do it.
Yes.
But it lets journalists like ourselves, agents, and citizens watch numbers arrive and compare them with later official announcements. That's very important.
Yes, take it again.
It allows you, those of us in the media space, citizens even who may want to go through the trouble of writing some of these things down.
Yes.
It allows you to watch the numbers as they arrive.
The streaming,
and compare them later to official announcements.
Yes.
The bill seeks to remove
absolutely.
That's requirement.
That's absurd. Yes.
Is it absurd? Why?
Absurd, and I think that whoever is making those proposals does not understand the philosophy of our constitution, because the philosophy of our constitution is premised on transparency and accountability, and the involvement of the people and the inclusivity of the people and the advancement of the democratic space, other than shrinking it. Number two, the question of transparency indicates or seeks to confirm credibility on these institutions, and you cannot be said to be transparent if you want to conceal some of this information. Remember, we are living in the information era, the era of enlightenment. So ideally, it's a self-defeatist approach to say that you do not want live streaming to be conducted by the IBC. Remember, these results do not belong to the IBC. They belong to the Kenyans. And Kenyans exercise their sovereignty through that processes of democratic voting.
Yeah.
So you cannot therefore conceal this information and hide this information from them. To me, even that proposal itself is itself unconstitutional. And of course, if it survives the legislation, then it shall find us out here, and we are ready to take it to court to challenge it. You know, I do not know why Mr. William Ruto, because those are Mr. William Ruto's boys, is afraid of what is afraid of. Let the people know. And by the way, let me tell you the magic of the polling station. In Olkarau, because I was there for that period, and most importantly, during the counting of the votes, I saw the magical of the finality of the results at the polling station. One, if you have a strong agency infrastructure. Remember, the agency infrastructure, the IBC Act and the Election Act, actually most importantly the Election Act, indicates that a political party or an individual participating in an election ought to have agents.
Yes.
Those agents ought to be firmly anchored in law, because they are the ones, or the first step towards transparency, the first step towards accountability, the first step towards the rule of law. So in my view, the finality of the result of the polling station must be communicated to the individuals. No, okay, in this polling station, this is how these people have expressed themselves.
Yeah.
In Kandui polling station, this is how the people have expressed themselves. So the tallying, and I believe what they should be proposing is not to kill the idea to inform the people, but to see how transparency can be enhanced. For example, if you look at the Constitution, it provides that presidential elections happens in each and every constituency.
Yes.
Actually, the law says, the Constitution says, it shall take place in each and every constituency. So where should be the finality of the elections? The presidential elections? Should it be at Bomas, or should the finality be at the constituency? That should be the argument. Number two, that then polling stations results are complemented and finalized at where the election of the presidents took place, and the Constitution contemplates that they shall take place at each and every constituency. That is to mean we'll have 290 results, each constituency announcing their results. That is to say, therefore, by the close of business, as late as maybe by 2 o'clock in the morning on the 11th of August, we already know who the winner is. And that's the only way we are able to deal with the question of Bomas. So that then we are saying that all the results from polling stations in Gishoko constituency, Ndia constituency, Kirinyaga Central constituency, and Moi constituencies are collated and tallied at the constituency tallying center and announced there. We should be working for the finality of the results at the constituency level other than at Bomas.
Okay.
So then, therefore, to say, the argument to say that we would not need to stream live is a self-defeatist argument, and it is propounded by individuals who are afraid. That is not how democracy works. Democracy works in openness. In any case, if you look at Article 27, Article 24, which provides for the limitation of rights, it says the justification for the limitation of that right must be justified by what happens in an open, democratic, and civilized society. So the test to be applied to determine whether or not that limitation ought to be applied is whether that limitation of failing to express and stream live would be justified in an open, democratic, and free society. To the extent that therefore that fails, it automatically tells you that that amendment itself will be unconstitutional because you'll be trying to limit a right. Yeah.
The ticker, the ticker that we see on our screens, right? The rolling text during the election.
Yes.
It's not people in a back room making up their numbers.
No.
Abby, it's not like KTN here or other media houses sitting in a room somewhere conjuring up numbers. That feed comes from someone.
Yes.
And that the ability for everybody to then see what those numbers are gives you a sense of information.
Absolutely.
So of what benefit would it be to remove that?
Well, I think the only person, and this is not the first time he's making this goof, he has made many of them in that particular assembly. The only person who can tell us the reason why he believes that right should be limited is Mr. William Ruto. Because it's him who has sent Cheriot to Bunge to make that amendment. You might want to ask yourself, if he's so confident that he's going to win this election, what is he hiding? Why doesn't he want the people to know? But we are making that will not even help. Let me tell you what happened in Olkarau. I was in one of the polling station called Nyakiambi polling station. In Nyakiambi polling station, when the PO started sorting out the votes between Douglas and this other guy called Mushina, they sort as they count.
Yeah.
They sort as they count.
Yes.
By the time they were finishing to sort out in our polling station, we knew Douglas had won. Even before the results could be entered into Form 35A. And we were streaming live with our phones. We were capturing her life as she counts. So when we are in this era of enlightenment, era of information, how then do you begin to limit? So that is to say, therefore, the finality of the results at the polling stations ought to be affirmed, strengthened, and facilitated for it to achieve the meaning that it deserves. And the meaning is to keep the people informed and for the people to be able to determine who becomes their next leader at that particular minute level. So by the time they were even feeling Form 35A, people were out in jubilations in all the polling stations, and we ourselves had declared Douglas. DCP, in conjunction with Wiper, had declared, because that's how that campaign was done. We assisted DCP so much on the ground. We were able to declare Douglas the winner even before the results were tallied.
And is this not how other jurisdictions do it as well? That the media, in a lot of times, are the ones who are able to call an election because the numbers that they receive come in from
Absolutely. You must understand one thing that the IBC must understand. IBC is not Alpha and Omega. They are not the only persons who are supposed to manage these elections. Other facilitating democratic institutions, and I call them complementary institutions, like the media, like the civil society, the agents, they must participate and must play a significant role in the elections, so that then therefore you are able to conceal any elements of rigging. Let me ask you, what is the essence of the media not announcing elections at the polling stations, yet the elections at that particular polling station are final? Why should I not declare the elections, and why should Wiper Patriotic Front or DCP or DAPK or PLP not tally their elections at the polling stations, yet there is finality. Why should I wait for bombers? The law says the polling station is final. And that's the magic of the finality of the results at the polling station.
And Wakili, with all this, because if you just read the law, it's there plain and clear.
Yes.
That elections end up at the polling station.
Yes,
and
yes.
Constituency, you get the results of the president.
Yes.
And with that, then one would argue, with a proper planning where, say, you have 290 agents,
Yes.
or you decide to even double that to go deeper into all the polling stations to count, that a party is able to collect all this by the end of counting as you move.
Yes.
And you're able to call an election.
Absolutely.
That even the media, with proper deployment of say, 290 journalists and sharing this data, is able to look at the provisional results and be able to call it.
Absolutely.
But we are looking at this function being removed from IEBC.
Yes.
But the media as well are the greatest streamers because we do that 24/7 a day. You know. So could that then also remove the media from streaming if IEBC cannot stream?
I believe IEBC must understand that the media is such an integral infrastructure in our democratic process. You cannot discount the role of the media in the democratic processes. The media must start preparing itself to call the elections at the polling station. There is nothing that stops the media from collecting election results in all the polling, is it 45,000 polling stations?
Yes.
And calling for them. You have not declared the winner. You have informed the people that His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka has garnered 13 million votes against Mr. William Ruto, 3 million votes. That is all what you are telling the people. You are informing the people. And you must understand that the media does not exist by the whims, wishes, or aspiration of the people. The media exists as a result of a constitutional codification. And if you exist as a result of constitutional codification, then you cannot be wished away. So when we win this election against William Ruto on the 10th of August 2027, when the media will be justified to declare Kalonzo Musyoka as the president-elect, you'll wait for the Chebukati Commission to give the certificate.
It's Ethicon.
Or sorry, I don't see the difference anyway.
Okay, we'll breathe for a minute there. So, what happens? Because we can say it all the time. We've had this conversation so many times.
Yes.
In terms of the minor Kiai ruling was fundamental.
Yes.
In what happened as per how election results will then be announced, not declared.
Yes.
But that this counting that takes place by virtue of that activity,
absolutely,
you kind of already know what's happening at the polling station.
Yes.
Right. The constituency polling center then now has all of those results.
Yes, from the polling
all
stations.
the different polling stations.
Yes.
So at the polling center, you have all those results already.
Yes.
So from that polling, and at the polling station, it's final. It's put together. It's collated, and you say this is the result.
Yes.
So we come back to that. So we still don't understand. Okay, so when I cast my vote, what happens here? I cast my vote at the polling station.
Yes.
And there's not more than 600 of you in that station.
Yes.
Right? If we started now, you and I, we could count to 600.
Yeah.
We could see the thing, give or take by 8 o'clock. It's even a lot. We could count 600 people in 10 minutes. We can do that.
Yeah.
So then we would be able to know Dennis Aseto in Spice Studio polling station is the winner.
Absolutely.
We know that in this station is the winner.
Yes.
So all of that is then taken to the constituency polling center.
Tallying center.
Tallying center, I beg your pardon. All of that goes there.
Absolutely.
So from those centers, the 290 of them, give or take, you kind of already know at some point who the winners are.
And by the way, at the constituency tallying center, the returning officer is not declaring an election.
No, they're just saying this is what
the election has already been declared at the polling station. He's just coming to inform the people that in all these polling stations, this is the results.
Exactly.
Because the results have already been declared.
Okay.
So if the finality of the elections is at the polling station, what bars spies, standard media, from collecting all these polling elections and declaring. There's absolutely nothing.
So if there's nothing that bars it, because then you have to look at both sides here.
Yes.
Whatever the other side is. Because there's a law on what it says, and it's very clear that it can happen if you operate within the, the provisions of the law.
Yes.
So the other side would be that one that still insists that we've done all this work, people have stayed awake all night, people have counted, to within an inch of their lives, but then you still want to, for some reason, go to another location and continue to tally. What happens between now, the CTC, and this NTC? What happens in between there that we have already seen this transmission? So could there be, because nature abhors a vacuum. If you don't tell us the reason why, then we're going to speculate.
Absolutely.
What happens between
and
there?
create anxiety.
Yes. What happens between there and there that perhaps you don't want people to see?
That's the thing. But by the way, I could almost give clear indication and confidence to our people that it is almost impossible these days to steal an election in terms of numbers. You can only steal an election in terms of procedure. But in terms of numbers, if you have a strong agency infrastructure, it's almost impossible to steal an election in terms of the numbers. And that is why you saw Raila never put up a petition on numbers at any given time. His petition was never premised on the difference of the numbers. It was almost always premised on the inconsistency and the impropriety of the election process. So if IBC is able to create a constitutional consortium with other players like the media, it's out informing the people. It will be impossible to steal this election. And that is why we are saying this election is an election that will make a significant statement to Kenya and to Africa. And but on one thing, Dennis, the only thing that I fault IBC for is that IBC understands that they came into office with a very low credibility and trust deficit. But they have not done efforts to build that credibility and to win the people's confidence. So these things they are doing underhands, under the table, are the ones that are making people become suspicious. For example, before that proposal is done for the amendments, there ought to be the stakeholders conference and stakeholders engagements. They cannot leave this engagement, the media, out of this engagement. And they cannot. It is not simply enough to say that we have engaged the media owners. It is important to engage the people so that the people then are able to understand what is the philosophy behind these amendments. So that then you not be accused of continuing to conceal. For example, they have not even involved the political parties in these particular proposed amendments. IBC has never conducted any public forum to involve the people. The latest one they did was when they were launching the strategic plan. And that is not an engagement. You're coming to tell us this is what we have decided to do. And by the way, even when they were formulating a strategic plan, they never involved the major stakeholders. And you cannot ignore political parties in the democratic process. And Wiper and DP, DAPK and the PLP and Jubilee, they actually wrote to Ethicon telling him, you have left out a major significant stakeholders. But they are very cozy to allow and to engage with UDA, as if UDA is the only political party in this country.
Akili, there is one thing you said, that elections cannot be stolen through numbers. Why? Because even if it's through numbers, one will ask the question, at any given point, IEBC will give 6 ballot papers, right? For every other electoral position.
Yes, absolutely.
That would mean that if a member of parliament, through all the votes that were casted, if they got 300,000, then for the president as well ought to be 300,000, because 300,000 ballot papers were given across board. That at the end of the day, if we get 3,001 votes, there has to be an explanation why.
Where did that one come from?
That single vote came from. But that notwithstanding, that even when we come to the counting of election, we start with the president, with the president's vote. That it is impossible for you to tell me that Dennis Aseto is an MP before you tell us who has won the presidential election in that particular polling station. Those are two areas that we look at. But one, Izakale here is saying that accountability, where is Izakale? Izakale is just saying a simple thing. Democracy is just asking for verification, not blind faith.
Absolutely.
If citizens, where is Izakale? If citizens can't watch the count, will spend 5 years questioning it.
Yes.
And that question then goes directly to IEBC in terms of the legacy and protecting that election for the 5 years.
Absolutely. You see, and of course the IBC and Cheruiyot should not think that they can fool Kenyans. There is no justification for that amendment. The amendment will create more doubts in the processes and the results that will be announced than create confidence and the ability to own those particular results. So at any given time, the IBC that has not even come out clearly to see and to speak to the people whether they actually appreciate those particular amendments and what harm it will create if the people are informed that so and so is trailing, that William Ruto is trailing the United Opposition. What is wrong with that? You know, the more you keep people in the darkness, the more you create anxiety. The more you create opportunities for doubts. And when doubts are created, and because people will not be trusting these institutions, we shall declare our president.
I mean,
let me tell them, if they create any situation that will make people to doubt, their processes, the IBC processes, the United Opposition will tally its results and declare their president. They should take that to the bank.
Have we ever had a discrepancy between the results at the polling station, the constituency tallying center, and the national tallying center?
Of course, they have been there, and that's what.
Have there been enough significantly to sway the numbers that perhaps are we talking about 13? Are we talking about 13,000 or 130,000?
Let me tell you one thing, and Dennis has raised that issue, and then you've also captured it very well. The difference of the votes at the polling station. It is not possible that the president has 20 votes and the member of parliament has 15 votes. It's not possible.
Why?
Because you're being given two ballots. For example, if you're voting for the president and the MP, you are given two ballots. And if you're voting for you're casting for the 6 ballots, each seat necessitates or requires the issuance of 1 ballot paper. So we should have uniformity of all, even the MCA's votes should tally and should be equal to the votes that the president has garnered.
Okay, so hang on. We're not talking about who you voted for, but we're talking about the number.
The balance.
So, for example,
the balance of the votes.
In this box, I can't have, if you've given me 6 and all of us here, so there would be 18, right?
Yes.
So it's not possible
for the president
in the box
to be 20.
for president, there are 20, and the box for governor, there are 15. They should be 18.
They should be 18.
Right.
And you know, IBC, and that's how they rig the election, by the way. The balance of the votes. And remember, in the Supreme Court, that question was put to lawyers. And they were not able to answer how that one arises. And to date, IBC has not addressed that question of the imbalance of the votes. Because the question of the imbalance of the votes must be addressed. We must be told how comes that the president, because even when you try to tally the spoiled votes, the rejected votes, you see, this rejected vote, it was cast in favor of a president or in favor of an MP or governor or anything. At the fullness of time, the spoiled votes, the rejected votes, and the valid votes must tally.
Yes.
Okay.
That is to say that there cannot be a situation whereby you are saying, oh, the member of parliament has less votes because there were some that were cast in his favor but were spoiled. But let us know, if that vote was to be successful, it was to be a successful and illegal vote, would it have tallied with the votes for the president?
So what we're saying is that all votes cast plus the rejected spoiled votes, if we have 46,000 polling stations, with each polling station having 600 on the register for voting on that day, that once you put all of that together, you should get 27.6 million.
It should.
It should not be 25 million.
Yes, and if there is
more than
spoiled votes, it must be tallied and it must inform to the balancing of the votes. But remember one thing, IBC has not put into place proper agency infrastructure. They have not even come up with a statutory form that is generated for the benefit of the agent to tally his votes. Agents are given small exercise books. Those exercise books, they never find themselves anywhere in law. I would think that proper and innovative legislation and amendments to the Act would say that even the agents will have a statutory form that is provided for them in law and given to them by the IBC to represent their candidates and their political parties in that particular process. So that then, therefore, that form itself is anchored in law.
Okay.
So in the event of a dispute, therefore, your agents, they have a statutory form that is properly anchored in law. Other than having an exercise book that will be doubted by anybody other person.
Later, because it could have been Jerry writing something.
So that then you say that this statutory form, there is a place for at the closure of the polling and the counting, where the PO signs 4, the other agents also signs 4, and then the agent goes with his form at home. So that in case of the dispute, we'll call the agent from Karusho polling station, and ask him, please bring us your form.
So if I go back to this thing where you're looking at the numbers and you're streaming them live, and previously the argument that has been given that an election is not stolen at the back, it's stolen in the back end.
Yes.
And that's why they say that when you're looking at maize in the granary, it's been stolen in the field.
Yes.
So you cannot start to count the maize that comes to the door of the granary in the truck.
No.
Because that's what you have.
Yes.
But you're not looking at what had actually happened in the field while harvest was taking place. And essentially, that's what the minor Kiai ruling was.
That is essentially.
That we're saying in the field.
Check in the field.
Check in the field.
The thief was in the field.
And tell us what happened.
How much did you lose?
How much did you lose in the field, or how much did you gain in the field? That is what you should tell
And what
Kenyans.
has happened is that the watchman in the field looking out after the maize is the agent. But the agent is not anchored in law. The law only says that political parties shall be given an opportunity to have an agent at the polling station, and it stops there. How the agents collect this information, collates it, and relate this information to the political party is left to the vagaries of the polling stations and the ability of the political party to provide exercise books. So if IBC wants a transparent election, we are proposing that the agents ought to be properly anchored in law.
Okay.
So that then he has a statutory form that he can consume in the event of a dispute. Remember, the only form that comes to inform us the results is Form 35 if you are dealing with a member of parliament, or Form 34 if you are dealing with the president. That Form 34 does not belong to the agent. It belongs to the IBC. Yet the agent is supposed to confirm those results on that particular Form 34. But when he's tallying for himself, he's not supposed to get that form. And remember, if an election dispute arises, the person who is in custody of all this information and material is IBC. And you cannot open that box without an order of the court.
Right.
So preparing your petition itself is prejudiced because you do not have the necessary information. So we are proposing that there must be a provision, an infrastructure created for the IBC, even if it would be either a form or a polls days diary in favor of the agents. So the agent is also able to record the events that have taken place in the polling station. If there is violence in a polling station, the only person who records that information is the presiding officer. But he keeps the PSD, the polls days diary, to himself or to herself. It is never given to the political parties. So we need to create an infrastructure where the agents becomes an integral and a central party and participants in that particular elections, including him being able to take stock of what transpires in a polling stations on day-to-day basis. Or alternatively, a PSD, polls day diary, be provided for the agents, exclusive for the agents, to keep records of what transpires in a polling station.
I mean, Wakili, just to respond briefly on this.
Yes.
When one walks into a polling station and I'm given all, is it a must that I'm given all the 6 ballot papers?
It must be given.
So that even if I choose to just vote for the president,
Yes.
the others as well, I must cast them in the
their ballot boxes.
Then decision will be made later whether it is rejected or spoiled. Because that is a safety mechanism for these ballots to tally. So I can't walk in and
you
just say,
cannot
I
walk
want
into a
to
polling
vote for
station and
president.
say, okay, I just want to vote for the president. No. So that then there can be balance of the votes. The only thing that, and you're right, a decision will be taken to confirm whether there is actually a valid vote, which you never actually ticked, or not. But at least when we tally, the balance will...
The thing that we're talking about here, because there's some people who are a bit confused, we're not talking about whom you voted for.
No.
What we're talking about is the number.
Yani umepewa makaratasi sita.
You have to cast
lazima
six of
uzirushe
them.
katika ballot box zote sita.
Bas.
Uweke ya president, uweke ya governor, uweke ya senator, uweke ya MP, ya women rep na uweke ya MCA. Hayo makaratasi yote yakikusanywa na ihesabiwe, lazima hiwe ilirushwa makaratasi sita by every voter.
It's not about who you're voting for, Christina or Linda. It is that the numbers,
the balance of the
balance has to come to
absolutely.
one number.
Yes.
And that's why you have to ask the question if it doesn't.
Yes.
Civic education needs to continue about this thing so that we can understand it, because that's what we are doing.
It need to.
How we wish you had come at 7.
No, let me just say something.
Real quick.
Something small. Yeah. I have seen speculations about His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka, even in the papers.
Yes.
Can I confirm, without any scintilla element of doubt, that His Excellency Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka is in one term to stay, and that his focus is to make sure that William Ruto is a one-term president. Number 2, I spent quite some time over the weekend with him at Saikuru, and these speculations are speculations that are made by desperate individuals who believes that His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka can join William Ruto. There is no possibility under the sun that William Ruto will ever work together with Kalonzo Musyoka. Kalonzo Musyoka focus is of a new republic. And the ideology of the new republic being propagated by His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka is the republic, is a new republic where the rule of law and constitutionalism reign.
Okay.
Where transparency and accountability are out of the day, respect for the institution, the independence of the institutions is out of the day, and of course, just to mention the question of the food security. I found you speaking about it. Only one thing. The way we view food security in the new republic is that we shall not just be speaking about wingi wa chakula, the plentiness of the, the quantity of the food. We have two-tier approach in our policy on food security. We want to look at the quality of the food that our people are eating. There's no possible that those chemicals that are even killing elephants will continue to be sold in this country under the watch of His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka. He's in one term and in one term to stay, and I say this with confidence, as one of his confidence.
All right. Well, that's a good place to end on.
Yes.
Wakili, thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you so much.
We look forward to another conversation with you. But like we said, civic education must continue. Good morning. It's 8 a.m.
Spice up your life. The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning, this is the news. I'm Sheila Tembor. The National Council on the Administration of Justice has approved the Sexual Offences Bill 2026 to strengthen laws against sexual and gender-based violence and improve justice delivery ahead of the 2027 general election. Chief Justice Martha Koome says the bill expands protection for survivors and addresses emerging offences, including technology-facilitated crimes and femicide. The Council also announced the reactivation of the National Council on the Administration of Justice Ad Hoc Committee on Election Preparedness, chaired by IBC Chairperson Erastus Ethicon, to coordinate justice institutions in preparation for the 2027 polls. It further approved reforms including a new police identification parade form and measures to improve child-friendly justice and road safety.
As far as the judiciary is concerned, the Judiciary Committee on Election is already set to start the training of all judges, magistrates, and judiciary staff and stakeholders, including advocates, on what we need to prepare. We had a presentation made to us by the chairperson of IEBC and commissioners of IEBC and agreed that interagency coordination and partnership is essential for a peaceful and orderly electoral environment.
Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has urged the courts to consider statements by Senior East MP Junet Mohammed and Langata MP Felix Odwor over alleged bribery during his impeachment process. Speaking in Wamunyoro, Nyeri County, Gachagua claimed that 2 MPs admitted that some legislators were bribed to support his removal and called on the courts to examine the claims.
Junet Mohammed amesema walipewa pesa wanifukuse. Jalango jana amesema walipewa pesa wanifukuse. Kila mtu walijua, lakini wameanza kusema. And we are asking our courts, our judges, to take judicial notice of what these people are saying. Because they live in this country. If wanasema hadharani walihongwa kutufukuza kwa ofisi, then the judges must dispense justice.
Gachagua also urged DCP party aspirants and supporters to shun violence and uphold peaceful campaigns ahead of the party primaries and the 2027 general election. He assured aspirants of free and fair nominations following the defection of Nyandarua Governor Kiaria Badilisha to the party.
Tusiangukie ile mtego ya Kasongo ya kutaka tupigane. Hii ya kutafuta watu wapige wengine. Hii maneno ya watu kupigana, it must come to an end. Naomba sisi wote tufanye kampeni ya amani, tupelekane vizuri.
And ODM Deputy Party Leader Simba Arati says the party will not relinquish the Deputy President position to UDA in the 2027 general election. Speaking at the ODM headquarters, Arati said any future political arrangement between ODM and UDA should be based on a 50-50 power sharing formula. He added that ODM will only forgo the position if President William Ruto or Deputy President Kithure Kindiki left UDA and joined ODM. His remarks come amid ongoing discussions over the future of the political cooperation between ODM and UDA ahead of the 2027 general election.
Tukiongea na mtu anaitwa William Ruto ambaye ni rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, tunaambia wewe ni rais wa UDA, lazima tukue na deputy wa ODM. Nimeona watu wa UDA wakipiga kelele, wacha niwaambie wanyamaze, wasiwe na wasiwasi. Tukiondoka mtapata hiyo kiti, amwezi pata. Sasa sikiza, tukiwa pamoja lazima mkubali. Kama Kindiki anataka kuwa deputy president, awaachane na UDA saizi, aingie ODM. Ndiye akuwe mmoja wetu, si ndio? Tuseme kwamba ODM iko na deputy na is serving. Kama anataka kuwa deputy kupitia UDA, Ruto awaachane na UDA, aingie ODM. Ndiposa sisi ODM tukue na party leader na wao wakuwe na nini? Na deputy. Hii itakuwa ni 50-50.
And that's the news. I'm Sheila Tembur.
.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
You have land, Dennis. Yeah. Okay, your own land. You use your own money to build it, and then you sell it to yourself.
But we don't want foreign troops on Kenyan soil.
But surely it goes a little bit deeper. This is it.
If you find the tree is withering, then you call the person who is managing that tree. Come around.
Yeah,
why you tell me what is
so
this?
first of all, what's the problem?
Yes, what is the problem there?
How do we expect ourselves to move forward as a country?
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
SRC's mandate is constitutional. It's not an advice. It's actually something you must do.
Must do.
Like now you abandon, of course, the narrative of Wheelbarrow, Mutanu Mjengo, Mama Mboga, and all those, that rosy narrative.
Your expenditure is 3.3 trillion, and you're collecting only 2.5. Out of that 2.5, you're spending 1.8 trillion to service loans and so forth.
That the CDF kit, it's in itself a symptom of corruption.
This is the Situation Room the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
If we just gloss over issues and hope that time heals, then we might find that in generations to come, we might be back at the same situation. And the whole thing is born of stolen elections.
Spice.
When it comes to the decisions you make, you must be independent. There's no way you can allow one institution to dictate to you how you're going to conduct your operations, how you're going to decide cases. It's a no.
When you weaken the institution to the point where they cannot take action, then you realize that politicians have to come up and now start dealing with the issues.
That conversation has to die. Our politicians do not like the hard stuff. We must insist on the path of doing things right, whether popular or unpopular.
Money changes hands. That is a fact. If you have political goodwill at the highest top, like in Rwanda, then corruption will be an issue of the past. If you don't have political goodwill at the top, we will pass laws, we will amend laws, we will continue passing laws and re-amending laws, and nothing will happen.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Okay, it's 10 minutes after 8 o'clock. And a very good morning to you. We're getting into it this morning. And glad that you're here. Even as, look, information about these processes in which you're involved in is very important for you to have. If you don't know the process around voting and what exactly happens, then you need to. And we will do what we can to make sure that we're giving that information as often as we can, especially in this period in which we find ourselves. So at least you can count on that. All right. So one thing that has come into the limelight in the last couple of weeks, more potently so than it has before, is the issue of the British Army training grounds in Laikipia and what exactly is going to happen there, to go or not to go, and whether they're back or what it is that we're doing. And we've seen that training has resumed as of a couple of days ago. But in terms of what it means looking into the future and why this was in the first place, so these are the conversations that we're having this morning to then be able for us to understand a little bit more about what it all means. Ahmed Hashi is a foreign policy expert and advisor, and he's here with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, there's the microphone.
This is the microphone.
I have a big problem with the microphone. It's always running away from
There we go.
telling me something.
It's like magic. If you speak into it, we can hear you.
Yes. Uriena we.
Riena.
Amarai.
Mbola.
Ama huyu we.
Dimulamu.
Ushere muno.
Ushere.
What are you doing?
That's the new language in town now.
Homecoming of the weekend.
Hiyo lugha haraka sana.
Far be it from you to not go with the time.
How are you?
Very well.
Well, you know, I bought fufu the other day.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Okay, why?
Because, you know, we have become friends, me and you.
Yes.
So I want to taste it.
Okay.
I want to know that if I come to your house.
Yes.
Not to expect anything radical in my mouth. You know?
And how was your first experience?
So, I like the ugali better.
You like the ugali because you don't know it.
The ugali tastes better, but the fufu is the only problem I have. Is a bit sticky in my mouth. The ugali, you know, it's dry.
Yeah.
Goes good.
You know where it's going. All right.
So I'm delighted to see you guys.
Good to see you too. We're going to get into talking about what's going on with Batuk and all of this and what exactly it means. But before we do that, Dennis has a proverb that you might like.
We're in Malawi.
Wako na linda mwananchi huko.
I'll tell you what they're linding. Wanalinda Lake Malawi. Why?
Lake Malawi.
Because it covers 20% of the country's landmass. A lot of fish species in there and amazing sunsets that you can enjoy from that lake. Because they've taken care of it so well that the most amazing sunsets in the continent can only be found there.
Yes.
Yes. The proverb. Most snakes crawl on the ground, but some snakes walk upright and speak English. How would you interpret it?
I was going to say something that will get me arrested before I leave this station. But I'm not going to say it because I'm busy campaigning. I want to campaign. Can you read that again? I think that's an amazing proverb.
Most snakes crawl on the ground, but some snakes walk upright and speak English.
My former wife used to say that about me. What? My late wife, I mean. When she gets upset, she used to say, "You snake." I don't know why. I'm a very nice person.
Surely.
But we were totally different. I think what it says is that beware of people who bring gifts. You know?
Yeah.
Beware of Greek bearing gifts.
Yeah, you know, like when the Englishman came with tobacco.
Oh, yeah.
And gave the chiefs tobacco and they got a really big high. And they just said yes to everything. And that's why they came here with their ships and they bamboozled us. They gave us drugs. Yeah. They gave us drugs, you know. They gave us cocoa leaves from South America. They gave us the tobacco and whiskey.
Yeah.
And whiskey, you know, is 100 times more potent than the sugarcane one that locals make or the maize one.
Yeah.
So these chiefs got drunk and signed everything away. And that's how Batuk came to Kenya. Did you know that?
Love the connection.
That's a segue.
Yeah.
You know, this is a gift that I get from my mom. So in, you know, Jomo Kenyatta used to be a very bridge kind of guy. You never knew if he was with the resistance in this country or if he was with the colonial system. So everybody put their thoughts and their thinking and their Baba Taifa mentality towards Mr. Jomo Kenyatta. And there's no question that Jomo Kenyatta is, and with Jaramogi Odinga and Masinde Muliro and the Kapenguria Six and Mohammed Hassan Jabeli, my grandfather, were all founders of this country. No question. But Jomo Kenyatta was not a militant. He wanted independence. He was a nationalist militant. But after we got independence, remember the army tried to overthrow him? When the army tried to overthrow him, that is when the British made a defense pact. There was a coup in Uganda. There was a attempted coup in Tanzania. There was an attempted coup in Kenya by the Kenya riflemen, the Kenya African Rifles, because they wanted positions. They wanted salary increments. This happened in the DRC with Patrice Lumumba. So this was a phenomenon that was happening across Africa. Guess what the government did? They stationed the British troops here and the Israelis in Wajir. Do you know why we have an airport in Wajir? Have you ever thought about it?
Because people want to get from places to Wajir.
Some people who look like me, who are very tough, who are across the border. They had a very big army, and they were working with the Soviet Union. And their planes used to just come, circle Nairobi, and go back to Mogadishu. So the Kenya government was very embarrassed and frustrated about that. So they called the Israelis and said, "Listen, we're allies here. Build an airport here at Wajir. When these guys come, you'll be the first to rise." And they had combat. They had combat between Israeli. They had Kenya markings. And funny enough, some of those airplanes so the Kenya Air Force was manned by Somali men, Somali pilots who were defending Kenyan skies against their cousins from Mogadishu. One of them passed away. It was my uncle. He passed away in a crash here a while ago. But the subject matter is this Batuk.
Yes.
So Batuk. That is how it came, this defense pact between the British and the Kenyans, so that they could protect the regime from the Kenya army because of coups that were happening across the continent. Now, this thing has morphed into something entirely different. It has brought us biracial children.
It has.
It has brought rape. It has brought impunity. It has brought racism. It has brought even the discourse today is that if they go, Nyanyuki will collapse economically. I mean, of course Nyanyuki will collapse economically if they go because they planned Nyanyuki around the damn base. They didn't plan it for anything else. And what is the Kenya government asking the British government? Please, if you rape, kill, or maim any of our citizens, we will take you to court. That's all the Kenya government was. So what did Ruto do? Ruto signed it yesterday. Was it yesterday? He signed it. He agreed.
Day before yesterday, because the training resumed yesterday.
Yes, the training resumed yesterday. Yeah. And funny thing, his cousin, who is the chairman of the COECH, who is the head of the Defense and Foreign Affairs Committee, put his foot down. Admirably. COECH has done an amazing thing. He said, we're not going to allow it. And you know, the signature is between the administration and the British administration. It's between the two. But our constitution says you have to take this thing to the committee.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
For it to be checked and to be presented as a bill, so that not as a bill, for it to be authorized that the Kenya government is in disagreement, right? Now, we don't know what's going to happen, but the administration has more power than the legislature on these bilateral agreements. It has more power. But the parliament can cause a lot of trouble. So this thing is happening now, right? So I think that Mr. COECH will be pushed. He'll get a call from the office of the president, and they'll speak to him in his language. They'll say, Chamige, Yamune, Momingalai, and he'll sign it. He'll agree to it because he's part of the government, right? He's with the administration. But, you know, from a point of view of foreign analysis, it just shows you how weak our foreign minister is, Mr. Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi, whose job has been reduced to taking selfies of the president on trips abroad. It is a tragic situation that Mr. Mudavadi, who started Poland, was a minister when he was 24 years old. Can you imagine that? He's in his maybe late 70s, if not his early 80s. People like that should retire. Mr. Mudavadi has no business being in government anymore. What is it that he's going to contribute? Nothing.
Because if he were, that we would see a situation like this. Because, Hashi, let's look at what Batuk as an acronym actually stands for. Right? It's a training unit.
Yes.
And one would imagine that if you have a training unit, that there's training going on that maybe you didn't have access to in your own country. But from what I'm hearing you say, it's a little bit more than that.
They're lying.
Are they training for combat?
No, the British are lying.
Are they going to be ready for conflict if it happens, so that they can leave from here and go somewhere else?
If you look at what they say that we're training because of good weather.
Yeah, the conditions are,
that's what they
conducive,
say.
Yeah. So if I can go through this. So the British Army Training Unit Kenya.
Weather.
It's a permanent.
Yes.
That is a very necessary adjective.
Yes.
British Army Support Unit based mainly in Nanyuki. The main base is at the Nyati Barracks in Nanyuki. It's about 200 kilometers north of Nairobi, a small element at the Kahawa Garrison in Nairobi. So there's some here as well. It serves as the British Army's largest contingent of soldiers based in Africa. It provides field training and exercises for up to 6 British infantry battalions per year. It conducts joint military exercises along the Kenya Defense Forces to improve readiness and peacekeeping skills. So this is for you. This is for Kenya.
It is an occupying power, in my view. We have no sovereignty if another country has guns and artillery in our country. Because if they get a direct order to shoot at State House, well, they'll do it, right?
They're here.
The Kenya Army stages a coup in this country. That battalion will fight. Those Israeli Air Force pilots will be here. You remember when the buildings collapsed here in Kenya? The first people to come here are Israelis, you know that? And the dogs sniff, the humanitarian guys. No, they're not here. They're coming to look for these Arabs they're in conflict with. They think that the terrorism has happened to them. And they themselves are blowing up buildings. It's called Red Ops, flag something. So this Batuk, when we, Linda Wananchi, come to this country, hopefully, we are going to send them home. And the reason why we're going to send them home is because we simply ask them under their British sense of justice, that if you commit a crime, please, we will take this guy to the police station and we will take him to a court. They refused. The president allowed the French to do this when they came here. He is allowing the British to do it. Yeah? Because Mr. Ruto has one philosophy. I am powerful, you bend. If you're more powerful than me, I'll bend. That's his entire philosophy. So this is why we have such a tremendous political upheaval in this country. Because if you look at the people on the government side, you see the idea that you have a foreign military base in your country says something about our country, doesn't it? You know what it says? It says we're not secure. And that we need what? We need this patrimony. We need this tautology. We need people to protect us because we're not sure about these Africans with guns. They might just come up and start shooting the legitimately elected government. And the British were an appendage of the British island. You know that? Up to today. We're speaking their language. We have the educational system.
You're playing in their games currently.
Playing their games.
Yeah.
All these things. We are just caricatures of these fellows. And if you go to Nyanyuki, you will see old white fellows driving these Land Rovers, right? They still think the colonial system is still in the country, you know? And every time a white guy passes in Nyanyuki, the local Kikuyu fellow will take his hat off like this and say, "Habari bwana." This is what they used to say during colonialism. So, militant partisans for the Republic like me and the Linda Mwananchi group, we are not liked by the political elite in this country. You can tell. You know, Linda Mwananchi is essentially ODM, going back to its roots. Yes. Because, you know, the Odinga family is squabbling over the party. So we have given the baton to this young man because we feel that he had the chutzpah. We believe that. We hopefully he has the chutzpah to when you get into government, to have a defense minister who will tear up this agreement, kick out the British, let them go to Tanzania. And then we will talk to Tanzania and we'll say, we're East Africa, kick them out. And if we kick them out of every country that we're in this continent, then we will have our own military self-respect that they know that they can do. If they want to go training, they bring 1 or 2 advisors from England and come and train. But I think that the Kenya Army itself is so experienced now that it doesn't need them. It doesn't need any of the British training.
Hashi, this speaks about sovereignty of the people. The Constitution says we the people, you know. And at that point where crime has been committed, a Kenyan has been murdered, and with that then there is the justice system that has to take place because the crime happened in Kenya. But then we are allowing all this to happen on the basis that they're here to train. One asks the question at that point, where is the sovereignty of the people of Kenya with whom have donated their land for these individuals to train?
Listen, these people killed 300,000 Kenyans during the Mau Mau period. What makes you think that this rape and murder of people in Nyanyuki is such a big deal to them? The British underclass is the one that employs the British Army. And the officer class is from the middle class or the upper class. You know, Britain is a class system, right? They're the ones who brought us this class system. So, you know, from a point of view of our continent and our people, I think that in 2027, that it is a scandal, it's shameful that you have foreign military installations by the Americans and the British and the Israelis in this country. It means that we're a pet, that we do not have any kind of autonomy.
And now the French.
Including the French now. So that if the British Defense Minister comes and talks to our Ministry of Defense and says, you know, we have 8 battalions here in Nyanyuki, which is 2 hours away from Nairobi. That's a threat, you know that, in diplomatic language. Did you know that? You are talking about the geography of the thing.
Right.
But what is loaded inside is when I tell you, say you're the British Defense Minister, you're the Kenyan Defense Minister, and I tell you, and I'm the British Defense Minister, Mr. Minister, how nice to meet you. How are things in Kenya? I just came from the 8 battalions, the artillery and our airplanes down there in Nyanyuki. I didn't know it was 2 hours away from Nairobi. I'm amazed. That's a threat.
It's so close.
It's a diplomatic threat. You know what I mean? What is it that the Kenya Defense Minister is going to say? We welcome and like and support the British Army.
Anything else that we can do to make your stay more comfortable here, please don't hesitate to let us know.
Yeah.
Now, for you to make such a...
That's neo-colonialism, right?
That's what it is.
Isn't it?
Yeah. It is. But then it is interesting because the few days ago, maybe with Nelson Koech as the chair of the Defense Committee of Parliament, to be really vehement and say, we will not renew this license. We are not going to continue with this. What was the turnaround that then said, okay, fine, let's sign it, and then let's go back to business as usual? Who had who by the short and curlies to say, okay, fine?
Gachagua.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Monday, the administration will say Tuesday. Gachagua said, Gachagua is also very, very conservative. He was part of the UDA, and he is building a temple of tribalism in the central Kenya. He's got a thing against his friend who fired him from the job. And he's politicized his kinsmen to play politics from the 17th century. I'm on the progressive wing of the opposition, not its right wing. And Mr. Gachagua says something, the government will do something else. Now, I'll give you an example. Mr. Koech said that Mr. Gachagua is looking for money from the British to allow him to stay in Nyanyuki. Do you know what that means? It means that central Kenya is not part of Kenya. That's what he's saying. You know, these tribal games that these politicians play to divide our people. But the essential political economy issue is whether or not military installations in our continent are a positive or negative thing, and it's obviously a negative thing, and those kinds of things need to be removed. The Constitution of Kenya does not allow it. You know that?
The Constitution of Kenya does not allow what?
Not allow it because it says we, the people, are the sovereign. This is our country. We believe in rights. That exactly tells you that anything that is not sovereign to us, which conflicts with our sovereignty, is not allowed. That's a clear interpretation.
Okay.
So I think that there is no Batuk breakthrough. There is no resumption. It is just a disaster for this country, and we'll keep hearing of this rape. We'll keep hearing of this fights within Nyanyuki. It will be you cannot enter their base.
And if there was that camaraderie, if there was that friendship, then why wouldn't you, for example, and we're taking a break on this, so hold on to your answer because I can see you jumping already out of your seat. Why wouldn't Kenya then have a training unit somewhere in Sheffield, for example? Okay. Ahmed Hashi is here with us. Let's have a conversation about that and look at what it does to state sovereignty. After this break, we'll be back.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Traffic.
All right, let's see what's going on with traffic this morning. There's a little bit of that, and it's coming in on the Thika Superhighway, but it's not too crazy this morning, so yay for that. On Kiambu Road, traffic getting through, and you're going to come back past Muthaiga Square. And coming off of Mombasa Road, no traffic until you get then right past that Capital Center junction, and then it builds up as you get to the Uhuru Highway junction. So that we see bits and bobs of traffic, nothing too crazy this morning. As you're trying to exit the expressway, rather the southern bypass, getting towards that Uhuru Gardens interchange, it's going to clog up for you just a little bit. But then the traffic on North Airport Road coming in from Embakasi is monumental this morning. It's crazy. And then some of that gets towards Cabanas and it slows down significantly. On the Outer Ring Loop, there's quite a lot of traffic as well. Is one to watch for. We're going to keep things moving regardless. SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag the Situation Room.
As a mother, my formula is simple. Happy change, happy child. And that's the Gentle Care promise. Unstoppable play needs a diaper that stays in place. Gentle Care slip-ons are designed to move with your little explorer to make sure their dreams are as unstoppable as their days. Gentle Care diaper pants provides all-night protection. For your child's unstoppable confidence, these offer leak-proof comfort. They let your little superhero leap, laugh, and play as much as he wants. Introducing Gentle Care Diaper Pants.
Online, mobile, and on radio. Twitter at SpiceFM KE. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Coming in at 26 minutes to 9 o'clock, and Ahmed Hashi's here with us, and we're looking at this whole Batuk agreement, whether it continues to be, if it was quid pro quo, and if there was an agreement between two sovereign states, why wouldn't you see the other thing happening? Why wouldn't there be Kenya Defence Forces having a unit, for example, somewhere in, North country?
Well, the beautiful ones are not yet born. I love that book. There's a big art, he's written he's from Ghana. He's written another novel called Fragments, which is much more militant. We're living in a time of empire, and the hegemon, the United States, who's the real hegemon in the world. It's not Britain that's the hegemon. It's the Americans. Yeah. And the relations between the Americans and the British is extremely strained. And the Britain is responsible for countries in the Commonwealth. West Africa, it's in Nigeria, Kenya on the eastern seaboard of Africa, and South Africa. So Britain is the principal agent of dealing with these states when it comes to these issues. Okay. We in Kenya have been in the orbit of the British government since independence. And we sometimes you can't distinguish between Kenya's foreign policy and what the British tell us to do. I'll give you 3 examples. One, the history of our diplomatic engagement. There was a guy called Charles Njonjo, who was effectively the president, de facto president in this country during Kenyatta's time. He wanted to dilly-dally with apartheid here in Kenya. The foreign minister then was called Munyo Wayaki. Wayaki was was the son of a paramount chief from Mount Kenya who were involved in the freedom struggle. Wayaki is actually a Maasai word. So, in cabinet, Munyo Wayaki said, over my dead body, and Jomo Kenyatta was sitting there, Charles Njonjo was sitting there, he said, over my dead body, that you're going to bring South African influence into this country. It's not going to happen. I'll resign and I'll fight it. Jomo then told Njonjo to hold off. He brought a heart surgeon, and he looked at the heart surgeon, and the Kenyatta had heart problems, and he wanted to change his heart and be given by the heart of a young person. And Kenyatta laughed it off and said no, and the South Africans went. But the engagement was not cut off. There was a relationship between us, the British, and the South Africans. The second thing is when Iran had a plane here, they were supplying arms to Somalia. Njonjo impounded it. Yeah. Do you know who they ran to deal with the Iranians? They went to Britain. The British ambassador in Kenya walks into State House without any appointment. Did you know that?
Till today? Till then?
Yeah, he doesn't need an appointment. They just say the British ambassador. He calls and he goes in there. No other ambassador has that. It's the Americans, the British, and the Israelis who have that. We're at the beck and call of these people. You know that this issue of intelligence and military support and the destruction of the Somali state by global powers. We in Kenya supervise the fact that Somalia should be divided, balkanized, and that is why we have Kismayo. You say Kismayo is a little bulwark against Al-Shabaab. A foreign intelligence outfit. It's not.
For all intents and purposes, what you're saying is that Kenya still remains a colony of Great Britain. And it's interesting because we were having a budget conversation and we were told that about 35 million shillings monthly still goes towards the payment of pensions for former colonial chiefs who live in London. today.
The district commissioners and the DOs and the people who are whipping us are paid.
Not who are paid, are paid.
Are paid. Are paid. I didn't say. Did I say were paid? Are
No,
paid.
I'm just.
There's a continuing pension. This is some of the agreements between us and the British government. They haven't paid us on the Mau Mau yet.
Yeah.
There's no money yet has come. You've read that book by that British woman about the Gulag Archipelago. It's Alexander Solzhenitsyn Gulag Archipelago version here of Kenya. There's been no payment. The Mau Maus are living in terrible conditions in Mount Kenya there. And nobody has repaid them. Neither the Kenya government has repaid them, nor the British government. So we need
sovereignty for us to let our laws be misused.
So spurious argument every day. The jobs, the farming jobs, and all the other institutions of the economy can be created there, just like every other place we have. They just want to create a little bit of, a nice place for the British soldiers to come and hang out. To have nice, pretty Kenyan girls as their concubines. Do you know this is a big problem between Japan and Korea? This is a big problem between Japan and Korea about comfort women. Did you know that? During the occupation of Korea. By Japan. And part of this concept of comfort women is still here in Nyanyuki, where, in the evenings they go to the pubs. They know they can't be arrested, so they could just kick you in the behind and grab a woman. And there's a young Kikuyu girl. You've seen the documentary about the girl who was killed and murdered in a hotel.
For whom they're trying to get,
justice, and they're
today.
covering up that woman's death. You know who's covering it up? Our government. Because they're covering up the death of their citizens. And that old woman is screaming and crying in their house, and there's no justice for her. And signing that agreement with the British simply says that we allow this kind of brutal oversight, more kind of thinking in our country.
Let's switch it a little bit. Because of this arrangement that Kenya has with Britain, there are those Kenyan army officers as well who go to British, assuming that similar crimes were committed in Britain. Would we see the same treatment being applied?
Have you tried getting a British visa? What are you talking about going there? Have you tried? Go there. You have a job. You have a salary. Go to the British Embassy and say, I'm going to London. I want to see the statues of colonialism. If you go to London, before you reach Buckingham Palace, you'll see Sir Walter Raleigh. You'll see some conqueror of Burma. Then you'll see conqueror of India. Then you'll see conqueror of Nigeria. Then you see conqueror of East Africa. Things like this. All the way down to Buckingham Palace. I'm not kidding. I've been there. And then there's shopkeepers who have bad teeth everywhere around that place. You know about that, right?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for us, the British would be eating fish and potatoes for the rest of their lives. I'm not joking.
It's true.
What are you saying?
Well said.
The haddock. You know haddock?
Yeah.
They have fish and chips. That was their food. They import carrots and this nice beetroot from us, cassavas from that lady. They got all these other good stuff, oranges, tobacco, all these things. It's imported because they created this imperial system to get it. And during the Second World War, the German fellow, Adolf had created these submarines. And, the British could hardly eat. They had one meal a day, So I think that we have to topple. Do we have to topple this upuzi? Because we Africans have this kind of patience, and I am impatient with this nonsense that we have, Dave. And I think that we ought to fight it because we men and women in this country, and I'm one of them, humbly, we fought to bring this constitution to this country so that we could express ourselves here. And so I think that it's just shocking that they allowed this.
It's so clear that if such crimes are committed in the UK, that the UK government would protect their citizens through everything. Back home, we are seeing it's a reverse, that they would not want to respect the laws of the land. Then one asks the question then, is the government allowing other jurisdictions to mistreat its people simply because of wealth, power that they have?
I think, I think it's quite obvious for the general viewer here we have in our continent that there's a new generation of young people who absolutely reject everything. And woe unto the rulers of this continent, because they're all going to be toppled. They're either going to be toppled through elections, or they're going to be toppled through the force of arms. Because the situation obtaining in our continent today is it's obvious for everybody to see that we cannot continue in a way that makes us subservient to these powers. I mean, I'm not talking about, there's one thing that Kenyans love to deal with. You're not being realistic. You ever heard of this?
Yes. You're being idealistic.
It's the stupidest thing I ever heard. Why am I not being realistic? I am right here next to you. I am looking at the same thing you're looking at. And I see what is happening. I see. James Baldwin used to say, I hear you saying that you want a new constitution, equality in the United States, but I see what you're doing. You're not looking for equality. You're killing me because of my skin color. So I see what is happening in this country. Everybody can see it, but we are a conservative society. We want. Have you ever seen a Muzungu walk into art cafe? All the waiters jump to go and give him coffee. I have more money than him. He came here with £1,000. You know why they come here, right? They come for our girls, right? Yes, that's why they come here. Yes, it's true. You people, you have to hear the truth. Okay. Then they go to Mombasa. Then they go and see, they're given the native dance. And they, to tell with his girlfriend, they said, look, the Africans are jumping up. He might even throw a banana to us. And we will not be offended. That's because we're put through this educational system of yes, sir, ndio, sir, Bwana asifiwe. Bwana asifiwe is not praising Jesus. He's praising the white guy with the hat.
Wow.
You know that? It's got nothing. Jesus was black.
Oh, here we go.
Yes, it's true. No, I'm telling you, how would you have at 50 degrees temperature in the Middle East, and there's a blue blonde guy? How is this not possible? The environmental conditions themselves doesn't allow it. And in the Bible itself says that Jesus had woolly hair. Is it in Isaiah? He had hair like wool. What blonde guy had hair like wool? I'm quoting the Bible. I'm not making anything, just in case you accuse me of being a Muslim and say,
I am Muslim as well.
So unapiga Wakristo. Hapana. I'm not. Islam is a continuation of that Bible. It's just a continuation of it. The only problem they have is on the crucifixion, but the rest is the same. Isaiah is Isaiah here. It's all the same. Now, I put it to you that this whole idea of hegemony, this concept is cultural, where, when you're beaten culturally, then you accept everything. So the first thing is, Kizungu. Jifundisheni Kizungu, sio Kiswahili. Tanzania has beaten them to that. They're speaking Kiswahili, which makes them more conscious. And when the revolution comes to Tanzania, it will be much more apparent than the one here we have. In Kenya, we have decided, like the British, that just go stage by stage. So President Ruto campaigned on the discourse of the poor. And he's sleeping with the stockbrokers, and the international finance, correct? So Linda Mwananchi now has come. We're going to say, that was not the authentic one. We are the authentic one, right? And the people of Kenya will see it. And now I'm telling you that I hope in the next election that the government is formed. And when I'm a member of parliament, I'll definitely be the chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee. God help the British when I get into parliament. God help them. We're bringing authenticity to Kenyan debates.
So that what you've said, even, laced with some humor, is that it actually is possible for sovereign states, as we look at them, to actually own your sovereignty and to say that, this is great, but what benefit do you get? Because the truth of the matter is that the folks who are the ones with the training units, look at them. The ones with the training units here, whether it's Great Britain, it's the US, it's France, it's Israel, rarely do anything outside of their own national interest. So they're not doing it for you. They're not coming to train KDF because they like you so much. There's a benefit that's attached to them. So we keep saying that, don't settle for the crumbs under the table. Be at the table when there's a conversation going on. So it actually is possible for you to say, well, you know what? Having you here training over the years has actually been contrary to our national interests, and that we can have a conversation in that direction. Is such a thing possible?
Yes. The Robert Nesta Marley, the Honorable Robert Nesta Marley.
No woman, no cry.
And I said that, here comes the con man. Here comes the con man coming with his bald head. And, African poets, singers, and cultural icons have been warning us of what is happening. Public policy people, experts like me, and people who are in the political world must have a understanding of the future of African peoples. And the future of African peoples does not belong in having failed states, nation states, and military barracks in it. Military institute. What it needs is an East African sovereign Jumuiya, right? That includes the DRC, that includes the Somali Republic. And then we can build our highways and trade, and David can go to Mogadishu and open his own show and talk about what's going on in East Africa. That is our future. But military installations are not our future. Nyanyuki should not be dependent on a military installation for its survival. No, it should not. It should have an alternative economy. You know what alternative economy? Those huge farms they have in Nyanyuki that was under colonialism. They should be kicked out. The land should be made productive, shared to the people who fought for the freedom of this country. What are British people doing in Nyanyuki? Planting avocados, and in Laikipia. They're going to pour money into my Langata constituency to oppose me, the way I'm speaking. Oh, yes, they will. But the people are there. I'm going to go to the people and I'm going to tell them these people are going to do that. Mkitaka mimi nitaenda. Watanimaliza lakini mutakaa hivi tu. What is it that these people are doing in Laikipia? Have you seen Igbos in Yorkshire planting avocados?
They could be in Yorkshire, but they're not planting.
No, they're not planting avocados, and the land doesn't belong to them. That land would be feeding hundreds of thousands, if not millions. There is no right for people to own this massive land in Laikipia and in Nyanyuki, particularly in Laikipia, where the Samburu people and the other Africans who are there can't even graze because there's white people with AK-47s, Kalashnikovs, shooting at them. You go there, you see exactly one white fellow with short khaki pants, safari boots, a brown belt, and a kofia. That is the symbol of apartheid. Did you know that? That is the symbol. You people don't be afraid to talk about these things.
Let's go.
We are not going to be afraid to talk about these things because that is what our children are talking about. My children debate with me about that. It's not their land, is ours. They're doing South Africa ethnic division. Monk, what's that guy with the X who owns X? Not X, Twitter. What's his name? Monk or something like this.
Musk. Yes.
And then they are funding Zulus in South Africa to play this anti-African game. What are they doing? They're trying to cut South Africa out of the continent. Right? Because the African national government has failed. ANC has failed to provide jobs. It has failed to understand the economy. It has accepted this intrusion into South Africa. When South Africa went to the International Criminal Court to oppose the Israeli settler apartheid system, guess what happened to them, Nduh? The eviction of Africa started in South Africa. Yes. What is the South African intelligence system doing? Was it sleeping? we are in big trouble. You're talking about Malawi. Malawi had a president called Bingwa Mutharika.
Yes.
You know what he did? He exported food. He was an agriculturist. He transformed that country. What happened to him? He died under circumstances that we don't know. Correct?
Yes, unexplainable.
So we have to talk to Africans here, because people in Togo are watching this. Correct? And we want to tell them that the position of the African sentiment is alive and kicking in Kenya. And the militancy is there. That is why we have Sifuna. His uncle, this guy, was one of the 6 bearded people in Parliament being detained by Charles Njonjo. He didn't come from Charles Njonjo's house. He came from a Sifuna house. Sifuna in Kibukusu means nini? Anasifa. Sidio? He's a human being, he has his problems, but what we want is to get these young, he's younger than me, he's 44, he's 44, nearly 10 years younger than me, or 8. So we want to get people like that into the State House. You know what they're saying? That he's not experienced. That's exactly what we want. We want a completely inexperienced person to look at these things and get shocked and say, what is this?
This is impossible. We can't do this.
What is this you have here? I don't want to see this. Go and change this. He needs to have enough parliamentarians like Ahmed Hashi, who understands foreign relations in the House.
Hashi, how does foreign influence our local politics to a degree that so that they protect their interests?
The political class in this country works for Britain, the United States, and Israel. It's a fact of life. And if you don't like it, you can go jump in the river. It's just a fact. When they come to us and tell us, go to the United Nations and vote this way. I'll give you an example. Ukraine. Ukraine?
Yes.
Remember when Russia invaded Ukraine?
Yes.
Who was the first person to speak in the United Nations? It was Kenya.
Kenya.
They even wrote the statement at the State Department. Then they brought it to the Kenyan ambassador sitting at the UN.
And said, read this.
Somahi.
Now you believe me, because I gave you a really prescient example. You thought I was just joking here. Now you're saying, he's right. And the people there see, that's exactly what they wrote. What business do we have fighting between Ukraine and Russia? In fact, it's the Soviet Union and Cuba that helped us liberate all of South Africa. We owe it to the Russians and to the Cuban people who are suffering under an oil embargo. You know, even our sympathy. They even brought doctors here.
They did.
When Ebola happened in West Africa, nobody ran. It was the Cuban doctors who went there. I am not talking about a leftist, militant discourse. I am talking about an African experience. And if the Europeans and the Americans want to call it militant, that's their problem, not mine. But what I'm talking about is what's happened here in this continent.
So what's it going to take for somebody to, you know, be in that position whereby you're having the conversation most honestly? What's it going to take?
Well, we want to elect militant young people into power. People like Traore. Musiogope bwana. Unaogopa nini? Mimi nimelala ndani. I've had many problems. A lot of people have died because of this kind of language. But we brought that constitution. Yeah, did we not? Now we have to fight tribalism and corruption in this country, right? Corruption is coming at a massive space. Trillions of shillings are being lost. We have huge problems in this country. And if we become cynics, and we allow that people from other places to just come here and eat our cabbages, and we look at them and say, Karibu, then we have another thing coming, it will not be possible to live a decent life in our continent like that. We have to stop this kind of nonsense. We have to stop it. It's my view.
Do you think African governments are able to stand on business together with the African Union and fix the mess and finally
the
say
Sahel Union is doing it. The Sahel Union is doing it. Captain Traore, the other ones in the Sahel Union, Captain Traore has brought agriculture back, brought the economy back, brought schooling back, brought airports back, brought healthcare back, brought housing back. He's told the universities that you cannot write about Hegel and Marx, but you have to get an engineering degree to build bridges.
Yes.
I disagree with him on that. I think you should read Kipling, if it's poem. I think you should read all the books in the world to educate yourself about what's happening. And most of all, you should read Aikwe Arma.
Absolutely.
Absolutely read him, because he's one of the greatest philosophers of our continent. So I think that if we don't Africanize our issues, Africanize our thinking, Africanize our views, Africanize our visions, Africanize everything, we'll be the, sheep to the slaughter that we are today.
And maybe remain forever colonies.
Yes.
That's what's really happening with Batuk.
Yeah.
That's how we started this conversation. It goes beyond that. Beyond the acronym, this is the reality of the situation. Coming straight from there.
You're called to go drink camel milk.
Drink camel milk. I've tried that, and it's not been too fun. It's a natural antibiotic.
Yeah, it clears your tummy.
And everything.
We have two brains.
Oh, here we go.
This one and this one.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is directly connected here.
Okay.
Whatever you give here
affects here.
Affects here. Okay, you need to give me the hookup for the camel milk. We'll talk after this. Good morning.
And I'll drink the
9
soba.
o'clock.
What's it called? The soba?
Which one?
What's those leaves you...
Zobo.
Zobo.
Yeah.
Oh, that's new information. Zobo?
Zobo.
I'll be drinking Zobo very soon.
It's 9 o'clock.
Thank you for inviting me. Such an amazing show.
Asante.
And I'm really grateful. Asante sana.
The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning, this is the news where I'm Sheila Tembor. President William Ruto will address the nation this evening in a special national address from State House, Nairobi. According to the State House communication, the president will deliver the address at 7 p.m. The address comes just hours after the president held a late-night consultation meeting with Deputy President Kithure Kindiki. The alert hinted that the address will focus on charting the way forward for the nation's development and the gains achievable under an ambitious vision. The address comes a week after the president received the report developing a new national vision, Journey to a First World Economy. Detectives have arrested 2 suspects, a woman and her son, as investigations intensify into the fatal shooting of a renowned clinical psychologist and mental health researcher Dr. Victoria Mutiso in Nairobi. Police say the suspects are being questioned as detectives seek to establish the motive behind what they believe was a targeted killing. Police believe that attack was targeted, saying the gunman trailed Dr. Mutiso from her home before ambushing her shortly after she arrived at the African Institute of Mental and Brain Health in Upper Hill on Wednesday. Investigators are examining possible links to an early case and a family property dispute as they continue questioning the suspects and pursuing other leads. In other news, civil society groups in Malindi, Kilifi County have condemned politicians accused of making divisive and inflammatory remarks. Speaking Malindi Responsible Citizen, Malindi General Coordinator Willie Mwangi criticized leaders for promoting tribal politics instead of focusing on unity, development and policies that benefit Kenyans.
Katika swala la wanasiasa na matamshi yao katika mikutano ya siasa, tungewaomba kama ambao wanapenda amani, ambao wanapenda heshima katika jamii, waache kutumia ndimi ambazo zinaleta udhalilishaji wa kabila ama tabaka, kwa sababu wanapofanya hivyo wajue kwamba wanakosesha heshima uongozi katika taifa. Wanatakikana they should tone down their words.
His remarks were echoed by Kilifi Madrasa Teachers Secretary General Ustad Athman Ali, who urged leaders to avoid hate speech and promote peace and national cohesion.
Kuhusu masuala ya amani na usalama, ningependa kusema ya kwamba viongozi katika nchi yetu ya Kenya tunafaa tuwe makini, hasa kipindi hiki ambacho kwamba ni fragile cha siasa. Maneno ya kiongozi, maneno mawili tu yanaweza kuchoma nchi, maneno matatu yanaweza kuchoma nchi. Kwa hivyo tunapoongea, tunapohutubia umma, tulinde ulimi wetu na tuzungumze maneno ambayo yataunganisha, wala si maneno ambayo kwamba yatafarakanisha, yataleta fujo, mfaraka katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Kabila zote ni zetu, sisi sote ni wa Kenya, na hakuna ambaye amefanya application akachagua kabila azaliwe kwenye kabila fulani.
Public transport operators could soon be required to display fare charges under a proposed law aimed at curbing arbitrary increases in public service vehicle fares. The bill, sponsored by Kimilili MP Didmas Barasa, seeks to empower the NTSA to regulate and review PSV fares, set minimum and maximum charges, and protect commuters from exploitation. It also requires operators to publicly display fare tables and provides a mechanism for passengers to report overcharging. And the National Assembly has passed the Sports Amendment Bill 2026 at second reading, paving the way for tougher action against match fixing and other forms of sports fraud. The bill, sponsored by nominated MP Irene Mayaka, proposes a legal framework to investigate and punish offenders with penalties of up to 1 year in prison, a fine of 1 million shillings, or both. It also mandates Sports Kenya to receive complaints and coordinate investigations with relevant agencies. The bill now proceeds to the Committee of the Whole House for close-by-close consideration before a final vote.
Another very serious or gross flaw or negativity of match fixing, Mr. Speaker, it dilutes the reputation of sports, Mr. Speaker, and as a result discourages sportsmen and sportwomen from participating in sport, particularly the youth, Mr. Speaker. And this is a vice that we have to tame, Mr. Speaker. It also dilutes public confidence in sports, Mr. Speaker, and that is why I say this is a very timely piece of legislation, Mr. Speaker, to tame match fixing, Mr. Speaker.
And that's the news. I'm Sheila.
94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
If we just gloss over issues and hope that time heals, then we might find that in generations to come, we might be back at the same situation. And the whole thing is born of stolen elections.
Spice.
When it comes to the decisions you make, you must be independent. There's no way you can allow one institution to dictate to you how you're going to conduct your operations, how you're going to decide cases. It's a no.
When you weaken the institution to the point where they cannot take action, then you realize that politicians have to come up and now start dealing with the issues.
That conversation has to die. Our politicians do not like the hard stuff. We must insist on the path of doing things right, whether popular or unpopular.
Money changes hands. That is a fact. If you have political goodwill at the highest top, like in Rwanda, then corruption will be an issue of the past. If you don't have political goodwill at the top, we will pass laws, we will amend laws, we will continue passing laws and re-amending laws, and nothing will happen.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
In this country, 6 families and 8,000 Kenyans control 90% of the GDP. We are not a country. We are a plantation. We work for Ruto.
When you're telling the judges court orders are papers or they will not obey court orders, they're sitting and you're seeking orders from them. So how are they supposed to interpret it? Isn't it an oxymoron?
When you see a judiciary that seems to be under some control somewhere, you start questioning. We have very powerful governors, but they don't use their offices to serve the people.
If you are not shameful to do what you are doing, why should we protect you?
I'm human. Everybody's human. So when you're told, kuja tuongee, I mean, you'd be a fool to say, stagi kuongea. Conversations have to be had, you know?
People in leadership should only go into leadership if they are ready and willing to change the lot of the people.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
Every time he kept on saying he wants a vibrant opposition.
How does it make sense that public money has been used already and then they dare to sell it back to you? Why are they not giving them for free?
That's how broken we are. That's how broken we are.
They're being sent home now for fees. They're going to fail to prepare. We are compromising the futures of these children.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
A very good morning to you. It's 8 minutes after 9 o'clock, and we continue into the final hour of the Situation Room this Thursday. And our conversation is going to center around, guarding the species. And we're looking into, a little bit of the environment, a little bit in terms of bringing certain species back, science, communities and partnerships, driving wildlife recovery. And that's the conversation that we have this morning. Our guest is already in the hot seat this morning. Dr. Robert Aruho is the head of Mount Kenya Wildlife Conservancy and co-chair of the IUC and Antelope Specialist Group, and joins us in the Situation Room this morning. Good morning, Daktari.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Welcome. Karibu sana. Thank you for being here this morning. So we're going to get into this conversation, necessary for us to have at some point, look into a number of these issues. But before we do that, let's welcome you to the Situation Room in Situation Room style. Dennis goes around the African continent. Every week comes from a particular country. We'll share the proverbs. We'd love to get your interpretation of the same.
Yeah, today we are in Malawi, and a beautiful country, because if you think about Malawi, one thing that stands out is the fact that they have Lake Malawi, which then occupies over 20% of the total landmass that the country has. Some of the most beautiful sunsets that you can find in Malawi is because they've taken care of that lake, white sandy beaches at the lake. But let's go to the proverb. Now, the proverb says, most snakes crawl on ground, but we have some that are walking and speak in English. How would you interpret it?
Wow, that's a huge proverb and a huge analogy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it also speaks to us about our human character, how unpredictable. Snakes in the world actually are very peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
And they go about their businesses, playing their role in the ecosystem. But when provoked, actually, snakes can actually be quite dangerous. Some are poisonous, and some strike without notice. And that's also, it just also speaks to us as human beings, because that analogy, some humans, we can be good, but also we can also go to the other side, which can make us poisonous and dangerous. So I think it's a proverb that has double application, both what snakes are, but also what we as humans can be.
Can be.
Yes.
Well said, well interpreted, Asante.
Definitely. Let's, do a little bit of a round opening up here. When we're talking about bringing back species, what are we talking about? Bringing them back, those who have become extinct? Or is it possible to now start having conversations around preserving those that are actually there?
Yeah, when we talk about bring back species, that term itself is already telling us that something has actually happened.
Okay.
And we are talking about species which are still either extinct or have gotten lost within our ecosystems and environment where they used to be. And they are no more. For example, the animal could not be existing within our own ecosystem, but it's still existing in the zoo somewhere. But it also could be that these species used to occur in a certain location, but now they are constrained in a particular location or on our planet, in our country. A species which used to be widespread might now be confined in a particular environment. And that means that if you are to bring it back, you have to take it back to the environment where it used to be.
Yeah.
Or it could be actually a species whose numbers are actually declining at a faster rate, and we need just to come in and assist the population to grow.
I mean, when you look at the species and degradation of the same of animal species, that has been mostly because of human activity and human interference with the normal way, the nature of these species. But one then asks the question, even while at that, as we try to bring back these species, are we addressing the root cause of the problem? Because, let's talk about the northern white rhino. Why exactly are we there? We are where we are with the northern white rhino because of human activity, poaching, because for some weird reason we think the rhino horn is of medicinal value. So are we addressing us as humans and the destruction we do to these environments?
Yeah, for us, really, it has to be a pronged approach. Anything that involves a human dimension, because we are talking about a human dimension and an environmental dimension. And for us to be able to wholesomely recreate the scenario that used to give the species thrival and survival in the past, we have to approach this holistically. But the human dimension is very, very critical, especially where species decline has been largely due to human-driven situations. If you talk about the northern white rhino, this was a really human-driven situation because this was intensive poaching, recklessness of those who were managing the protected areas that time, because the northern white rhino used to be in Uganda during the days of Idi Amin, about 360 of them. But I mean, the government watched on as poaching was intensifying because the guy was not interested in species management. So now the first situation that had to be addressed in such a area is to government stabilize, address issues of policy, and then start now the species recovery. Then other situations where you find actually human dimension is due to habitat loss. Then you have got now to do a lot of community awareness to create the importance of the species to the people, the importance of the species in the environment, and also what does the community need to do to bring back the species, and also talk about the socio-economic dimension of that species so that people can appreciate why an elephant actually has to live within our ecosystem. Yeah.
So when we look at emerging innovations in species restoration and recovery, what we're looking at is essentially trying to make sure that you can bring back particular species or that you can ensure that they actually remain in ecosystems. So what are some of these innovations that you're actually looking at that beyond that? And what is the role of science and some of these partnerships in making sure that you can actually do this and get it done?
Science remains an indispensable management tool, especially for what we are managing now. Because if you look at wildlife population management, it's a real art and science, because you are talking about the biology of the species. You are talking about the ingredients within the ecosystem that help the species to survive. And you're also talking about population monitoring, which we call ecological monitoring. And recently we started getting some very important tools that actually are helping us to ease the work, because you can imagine if you're managing a protected area like Savo, which is over 2,000 square kilometers of protected airspace. How much manpower do you need, for example, to daily be in touch of the situation of what's happening in the park? So now, and also, if you want to do population census, how long does it take? But nowadays, with now technology, you can actually be able to have a drone and census and do like a quick snapshot of the park. That's very there, and get the information you need. When it comes to elusive species, like we are managing the mountain bongo, it's so difficult to go into in the forest every day, count these animals. But now with artificial intelligence, we are able now to have cameras stationed in the place. We train them how to identify animals, so they pick up and say, this is a mountain bongo, this is an elephant, this is a leopard, and that makes now work easier. So from the comfort of your office, you can keep in touch of the situation that's happening on the ground, and that is empowering wildlife for protected. Is empowering wildlife managers to ensure that they are in touch of the situation in real time and address issues in real time. And that's very key. If an elephant strays out of the community, you get an alert that this an elephant is going out, and that helps you to actually preemptively prevent human wildlife conflict.
I mean, when you look at the continent as a whole, one of the biggest resources that we do have is the wildlife, because think of safaris that we have in the continent. Think about in terms of revenue on how what that injects to different countries and to the economies as well. But while at that, then one would hope that knowing very well this is a resource that we cannot afford to lose, protection of this biodiversity, of these species that we do have in the continent must be a priority. How would you rate the way the continent, the way Africa is protecting its species, its wildlife, so that it is there beyond us?
I think where we stand in a very good place, because I think the value of tourism has been amplified, and I think governments are beginning to appreciate what tourism and our wildlife and our tourism, especially for sub-Saharan Africa, is really wildlife and nature-based. So governments are beginning to appreciate that. And you can see many governments are now investing, for example, in airlines. And that is really to bring tourists here. So there is that goodwill that is developing, and the consciousness that actually the tourists are coming to see our wildlife. And just to say, one tourist actually, when you look at the tourism value chain, it's a very amazing chain, because you can see how many people we are able to employ by every tourist who comes in here. A tourist will come by our airlines. He will be handled that means a pilot and a crew have a job. At our airport, he's going to be picked by somebody if we skip the airport management. He is not coming with their own car. He's going to take our fuel. He's going to sleep in a hotel built by us. Our mothers and fathers who are selling vegetables and food, they are going to get money. So you can see the importance of tourism value chain, and how many people actually are employed and supported because of tourism. So with this, I believe now our government are really, our governments across Africa, they are really seeing this as a very great opportunity and a great multiplier, because we are earning actually direct foreign currency through tourism. So everybody is seeing tourism as a great opportunity, and that's why we are trying by all means possible to attract the biggest hotel chains, attract the high-end guests here. And I think where we stand is in a very good place, and every government is really, really keen to stabilize tourism and provide the tourism-related services. Yeah.
Okay, so let's ask. I mean, maybe you've glossed over this a little bit. What is the bongo?
The mountain bongo is a very beautiful antelope, and in 1900s, the mountain bongo used to occur in Kenya, particularly Aberdares National Park, and Mount Kenya National Park, and then Mount Elgon National Park, which is a transboundary park shared between Uganda and Kenya. So the mountain bongo used to occur in Uganda and in Kenya, but then in Uganda, extinction occurred between around 1950s, and the bongo remained hanging on in Kenya. So the bongo is a very beautiful animal. They are large enough, around 250 kilograms for females and around 400 for females. Both sexes have horns, and these horns can grow up to 2 feet, and they are spiral. So it's a very attractive animal. And if we are going to talk now about heritage, for example, I think the bongo is the only animal which is predominantly a Kenyan animal. So if you talk about heritage, a bongo is truly Kenyan heritage, because the only animal that we share with the world, but only found in Kenya. So if you go anywhere in the world and find a bongo, you can be 100% sure that this bongo originated from Kenya. And that's makes it very unique, because this is truly our heritage. Yeah.
What are some of the breakthroughs when it comes to protecting the bongo? Because we've talked about the fact that we used to share it between Kenya and Uganda. Uganda extinct, so then Kenya remains the only country with the bongos. I know recently there are some bongos that were repatriated back to the country. But what are some of the successes that we have witnessed in terms of that numbers are increasing through intentional maneuvers or decisions that have been put in place to ensure that this Kenyan heritage today, that is the bongo, is protected? Because why would I want to see a bongo in the United States? I want to see bongo in Kenya.
Yes. Yeah. One of the breakthroughs we have had, one is that we've been able to breed successfully these animals, because in 2004 that's when the breeding program started. So we've been breeding and building up the numbers.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest situation we had to face was when you bring an animal, for example, from the United States, it has no clue about our diseases, the diet is different, the management is different. So making that animal survive here was one of the biggest nightmares. But we have gone through that, and we have hardened these animals, and we started breeding. And in 2002, we actually were able to start introducing these animals to a wild sanctuary on Mount Kenya, at the Mawingu Mountain Bongo Sanctuary. I think the first mountain bongo sanctuary in the whole world. So, and we are seeing this was really a cautious step to take, but when these animals reached the sanctuary, unbelievable, they adapted quickly, they produced quickly. We have over 6 births in that area, and this was a very, very strong proof of concept that actually we're in the right track. Then, encouraged by that, that's why you see this year we brought in more bongos from Europe to enhance now our breeding and recruitment, because with those 4 males, it opened up 4 lines of breeding. Each male can be paired with about 5 females, and then the breeding is rapid. So we expect that actually within less than 10 years, we should actually have doubled the population, which is now around 176. We should be able to go to over 300 bongos in the next 10 years, and this is a very great breakthrough. But the most important thing that I see is the awareness we've been able to create on this antelope. You know, many people, I mean, even if it's you who has gone to the national park, you want to see the lion, want to see an elephant. But we've been able to build a profile of this animal to draw attention to the world that actually antelopes matter and the mountain bongo matters most. Yes.
Okay, and so when we're talking about animal conservation, wildlife conservation around Africa, we know countries that had animals and today they have none. What are some of the things that concern you for somebody who's in the forefront of this conservation effort? What are some of the things that concern you about some of the trends that we currently see?
I think when you one of the things that are really quite concerning, one is the loss of space for wildlife to roam, habitat loss. Because you believe me, our population is growing, and also the needs of our population. We need housing. We need also where to grow food, support our population. And the protected areas really have been segmented so much because we are looking for land to take care of our housing needs, but also for development and also for our food to eat. So that is taking away space for wildlife, and our protected areas are remaining seriously isolated. So populations which used to cross together and for gene flow, now it's not possible. So that means our human interventions will be amplified to help these wildlife populations mix for us to sustainably grow the genetics. Then number 2, related to that, is also we are seeing a very worrying trend of the emergence of invasive species, plant species. So these invasive species, they are converting our habitats, they are unpalatable to our wildlife, and taking away space for wildlife. So what that will mean is that as long as wildlife does not have enough food to eat, then the population will decline. And this is something very serious. And it requires a lot of investment. It will take a lot of money. You go to a national park, for example, like Nakuru, you'll see the amount of Sodom apple that is there. For us to invest properly and remove such, it will take a lot of money. You go to Queen Elizabeth in Uganda, for example, you see the Crostachys cinera, the amount of space it is taking away. It can be eaten by even elephants. So it displaces wildlife a lot, and that takes away our space. And then, of course, the human dimension of poaching. This is where governments continue to invest proactively to combat poaching. But despite all that, poaching for bushmeat continues to be a very serious issue. Yeah.
Another aspect of conservation then would be innovation and technology that does exist, such that even when you talk about the northern white rhino, we've decided to go genetics. We've decided to go in the labs to try and have these species come back to life. While that is a new way to go, or some of the options that only remain in terms of conservation, what does that inform or tell us when it comes to that species? What does it tell us? Should we be worried? By the point you as a researcher, as a protector of these species, you're deciding to go, let us now go to the lab. What has happened for us to end up there?
Yeah, but by the time now we resort to these means, it means a lot has gone wrong. And a lot has gone wrong under our watch. Yeah, so to me, what that tells me that we looked on for longer. So what we are trying to do is that we don't want to have a situation where we are going to slip down to where you only have 2 animals remaining, like in the northern white rhino. Because one, as African, in Africa, you're not going to have all these financial resources that are going to be available to recover a leopard, that are going to be available to recover a cheetah. So we need to start our action early on, especially when we see some triggers. So that requires us to, regularly monitor our population, understand our trends, understand the threats, and then address those ones earlier. Okay, and where situations warrant us to go in and actively intervene, our intervention should never come too late to come down to 2 animals. You need to start early when you still have a good chance. For the like for the bongo, we still have like 15 abadeas, so we are not starting from a very far end where we are under extreme pressure. We are starting from a good place of hope and a good place where there is need for investment. But it cannot be as now what we'll go through with a northern white rhino, where you start with babies in a test tube, and then from there you move them to the field. So that's a longer journey. And that is possible because you already have scientists outside Africa who are coming to help us. But how much capacity are we building internally that we can be able to take on the next species? So we need to start our action early.
Indeed. So then to come and look at the obvious competition that there is between survival and then recognition of the necessity to keep wildlife, to make that connection. Let's take a break and we'll come back to discuss that. We're talking about preservation of species, essentially keeping them alive, and we'll come back from this quick break and then be able to do that. We're talking this morning on wildlife preservation with Dr. Robert Arujo. We'll continue that when we come back from this quick break.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Traffic.
All right, hasn't been too much of an issue, but the traffic that is coming off of Cabanas heading in from North Airport Road and then also Embakasi still continues to be a little bit of a thing right around Cabanas. Inbound and outbound traffic still continues to pile at this point, but dissipating at the same time, rising and falling. So let's watch out for that. And traffic on the Pangani Underpass, at the Pangani Underpass, then getting towards Wangari Maathai Way, also a little bit of that left into the city. Ngong Road is busy, it's moving. Have some traffic there, but it's moving, so this is a good thing. Let's keep it moving through the day. SpiceFM KE on X.
So many forward here. Titles are on the line. Rivalries are at their peak. This is the final stretch, where legends rise and champions are made. From the Saudi League to the Bundesliga and La Liga. Recharge your monthly subscription today to feel the pressure, feel the passion, feel the game. Every pass, every goal, every moment matters. Don't miss a moment. Renew your subscription and stay in the game. To renew your subscription, dial *858# for self-service or get in touch with our call center on 0719 077 077 for customer care. Buy a StarTimes decoder at any of our dealer shops countrywide. Download the StarTimes On app to enjoy all your favorite shows and stream live channels on the move. StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.
Tired of missing out? Want to stay ahead of the curve? Get the facts, the full story, and the truth all in one place with the Standard Group's all-in-one app. Watch live TV, listen to podcasts, stream your favorite radio shows, and get breaking news alerts instantly. Plus, access premium content with the Standard Insider and never miss a beat with the Standard e-paper. Read the Standard and the Nairobian anytime, anywhere, on your phone, tablets, or laptop. No delay, no clutter, just bold, judged, and factual news on demand. And here's the deal. Get a full year's e-paper access for only 7,699 shillings. So why wait? Download the Standard app right now from Google Play or Apple App Store, or visit epaper.standardmedia.co.ke to subscribe. The Standard all-in-one app. Stay informed anywhere, anytime.
As a mother, my formula is simple. Happy change, happy child. And that's the Gentle Care promise. Unstoppable play needs a diaper that stays in place. Gentle Care slip-ons are designed to move with your little explorer to make sure their dreams are as unstoppable as their days. Gentle Care diaper pants provides all-night protection. For your child's unstoppable confidence, these offer leak-proof comfort. They let your little superhero leap, laugh, and play as much as he wants. Introducing Gentle Care diaper pants.
Saturday is match day, and Spice FM is where the game comes alive.
What a head!
From 2 to 6 p.m., we are bringing you wall-to-wall football action on the pitch side. Live scores,
2 goals in added time,
heated debates, fun reactions, pre-match predictions, and post-match analyses and football gossips. Join us on Spice FM at the pitch side, hosted by Charles Otieno and Eshitemi Rogers. It's bold opinions, raw passion, and no VAR needed. The pitch side on Saturdays, 2 to 6 p.m. only on 94.4 Spice FM.
I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again!
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
All right, continuing with our conversation this morning, and as we do that, Daktari, I don't know if it's a curse or it's one of those things that we still need to continue competing about when it comes to oftentimes when we see, if you go into the, people talk about an animal that's washed up on shore, and the first thing that people think about is how they're going to eat it. An animal that makes its way into people's farms, the first thing is to kill it, to eat it. There's rarely the conversation about preserving this. In the hearts and minds of many people, it's to be consumed. Is it a conflict? I mean, obviously it's a conflict, but how are we going to get over that? Where the competition here is for people to survive vis-a-vis to think about the preservation of wildlife. How do we deal with that?
I think this is an important issue that we are really we are contending with. I think our urge for meat as Africans
should be studied.
It should be studied. Yeah, even me, when I walk in a restaurant and you serve me food without meat, I would be concerned.
Are you suffering?
I'll be concerned. I think this is where it's a question of balancing livelihoods, especially for people who are living closer to wildlife, and creating this awareness. Because I mean the protein requirement, people want to feed their families, but this has to be well balanced in a way that we can actually raise enough livestock that we can derive this livelihood from, and I believe we still have land. All we need is to understand what will be the best way to actually put our land to optimum use, So we need like agriculture extension services around protected areas to teach people how do you keep your goats actually? How are you able to provide their needs quickly? Because as long as families have their protein source through their livelihoods. If a father has a chicken source for a child, then you not want to take on a risky venture to go and poach. So I think it's really to support the immediate communities around protected areas, better ways of farming, how they can utilize their space, and also to appreciate that actually wildlife will pay them better once they start seeing the direct rewards of coming from the wildlife, benefiting them through livelihood incomes. I think that will also sort some of these problems. At the moment, if they don't see the opportunity, I think I read in Konjima Wildlife Reserve in Namibia that if it pays, it stays. So the communities want to see, does it pay? If it pays them, then it stays. Yeah.
Let's talk about veterinary medicine. With all these millions and millions of population of wildlife in the country, or even in the continent, one would also assume that we have enough personnel that will be able to look after these animals whenever they fall sick, or even just for research and development to know how they can produce better, because technology informs that, right? Now, when you get into veterinary medicine today, one would be concerned, because even in our homes, you'd find many have their cats and dogs that don't see the vet. Why? Because I don't know where a vet is. I am not cultured to be taking these animals to see the vet. So with the burden that we see then as a continent with regards to veterinary medicine, how difficult is that making the conservation of these species in the continent?
Yeah, you talk about, I think while veterinarians as a profession, we are very few. And then when you now start specializing, like I've done in wildlife management, actually you become fewer. One, it takes really passion. If you love it, then you can do it. And then it's sometimes it's also a daring game, because you are going to be working with animals which are not domesticated. So it really requires another sense of courage and passion to mix together. And then also, we are coming from a generation where they will say nature takes its course. And where we stand, nature cannot take its course, because we know that there are human dimensions that are affecting wildlife, where now we have to come in and help. For example, an animal caught in a snare, it's not an animal's making. That's not nature taking its course. It's a snare introduced by a human being. So humans have to go in and remove the snare. So I think that appreciation of conservation veterinary medicine practice was not there in the past. But now the trend is actually changing. I think we are making a huge difference. You can see like active medicine has been able to build back the gorilla population in Uganda, Rwanda, together to now the species being endangered, from critical endangered. You can see the achievements we are making on the Bongo because of active medicine. So I think there is that growing trend of investment in veterinary services for wildlife. And we are encouraging wildlife conservation authorities to really embrace employing veterinarians to tackle some of these emerging issues that we are facing in wildlife conservation.
How does the conservation or preservation of forests and cover affect the proliferation of wildlife, number one, or even, offer protection for them? In that conversation, when we talk about having trees, foliage cover, we don't often connect it with how it protects wildlife. We think about how it then protects the environment, and we can ensure that there's rainfall. How do the two work together?
There are generic importance of forests. For example, the air that we breathe, modulated by the forest. Protection of our rivers, because they provide that cooling effect and slow down the runoffs. But I think one of the things we don't appreciate is actually forests actually are a home to wildlife, just like we need houses and shelter. So imagine if you lost your house, for example, maybe through a fire, through a flood. I mean, you are in a very serious situation. Now, when we cut down our forests, that means actually there's going to be stranded wildlife with no home. So that's a very huge disadvantage. And not only that they don't have a home, but also you have cut their granaries because that's where their food is. So forests are extremely important, especially for forest-dependent species. Not only because they are a major source of rivers, they are not only because they are of our oxygen, but importantly, these are critical wildlife habitats. And there are some wildlife which cannot survive, like a bongo. A bongo is an entire forest animal. And a specialist of the forest in that it lives in a forest of 2,200 meters above sea level. You eliminate that forest, you have eliminated the species. So habitats, forests are very critical in that sense.
Yeah. So one then asks the question, can development and preservation of species taking care of our diversities work hand in hand? Because there are two thoughts to this. There are those who say development is a brick and mortar, buildings, roads, we move. There are those who say development is overarching every other thing. You take care of your species, you take care of your wildlife, you take care of the environment as well as you do your roads and everything else. Then that is a holistic development where nothing, including the animals, are not left behind, because then you will be investing in veterinary. Can development and protection of species and natural resources work hand in hand? And if not, what must we all do? Because it's not only your fight, it's not only the government's fight, it's for everybody, including communities, to join in.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting argument. But when you look at actually the most developed countries, take an example of Norway, take an example of Canada. These are highly developed countries.
Yep.
Look at the kind of environment they have around themselves. They have some of the biggest forests. They have some of the biggest wildlife. Because they have demonstrated actually they need their wildlife, their forests and their animals to live alongside environment, to live alongside their development needs. So I think it's a conscious balance that we have got to really, really make. And it is possible. And it requires us to thoughtfully plan our development. For example, don't let development pass through a sensitive area. That can be avoided, okay? That can be avoided by very good land use planning. Then also, where we destroy, we can compensate. If for example, I have a road passing through a protected area, you should also compensate by the same amount of land on the other side, so that at least I can, if I cut trees around here, I can actually replant them on the other side. So for me, it's about our consciousness in how we plan development and our vision for the future. Because today you might say, okay, this wildlife is just a forest, but tomorrow if you're going to restore that forest, it must cost you much more than the value of the road. So I think we just need that conscious balance when you're planning our developments.
What's the relationship between governments and this apparent policy that needs to take place? Because governments, have different agenda at different times. It's not just one track. How then does policy the policy of this protection and conservation come and play in line with what a government agenda might be of the day? How do you work that around?
I think government will always give direction and an overarching policy. And we just have always come in private sector, the people, the researchers, and government usually want information. And information really that is also objective and not perceived in a way that is threatening the government's agenda. So we just need to create that mutual conversation table where we can be able to contribute to the government policies and be able also to alert government, because government is made by the people. And I believe for that matter, citizens who are also conscious about the need of their country. So I think we just need to continue engaging, continue providing data and information, because sometimes you find some decisions are being taken because there is no information or data. And also citizens also to amplify their voices, because when people are joining government, some of them come in when they're elected, for example. So do citizens air out their voice, what they want, the government to be as the agenda. So I think it's really a mutual relationship that we need to foster between government and the people and the private sector and organizations working in the environment to ensure that there is conversation flowing, information is generously contributed, so that also at the end of the day, government is able to make a conscious decision supported by data and information available.
You look at African governments, even if it's just a discourse around climate change and how it's affecting animals, Africa is seen as a country that contributes the least amount to destroy the environment, but suffers the most, 4%. So if you do 4% and divide that across all the 54 countries, it is minute, But that notwithstanding, that Africa is on the forefront in leading this conversation around conservation and taking care of environments, because we know the pinch, right? But is Africa united from where you sit in terms of conservation, in terms of wildlife protection? Because Uganda lost their bongos because they did not use it. That's an African problem, because it is an animal that can only be found in this continent.
Yeah.
So is Africa speaking in one voice when it comes to conservation and what needs to be done?
Yeah, I think it's. I've been part of some conversations that have been going on, especially conservation of our flagship species like rhinos. Yeah. And what is emerging actually, we are now beginning to get a consulted voice, which was lacking because we thought actually we were separated. But wildlife, for example, does not know boundaries. You take an example of our ecosystems, how they cross over and roll over in each other. You go down here, Masai Mara, Serengeti ecosystem, it's one. You go on the other side, Uganda, Congo, Virunga ecosystem is one. You go up in Kidepo Valley National Park, you find Kidepo, Uganda, and Kidepo, South Sudan. That's the same ecosystem. So I think there is now a growing awareness. Actually, we are having wildlife that actually knows no border, and it's high time for Africa to work together. That's why you see, like between Virunga, we have the Greater Virunga Transboundary Cooperation between Uganda, Congo, and Rwanda, to make sure that the gorillas in that Virunga Massif survive, and that has been key to growing the gorilla population higher. So, we cannot escape from this fact that as Africa, this is our wildlife. We can't sit on the fence and wait for somebody to come and give us an agenda of how to conserve our wildlife. So the area we own this, and I see this ownership now is growing of this responsibility, and I think we're on the right track because we are seeing now conscious investment in wildlife conservation and African leaders consciously emerging to take on conservation issues. And I think that's the right direction.
There is still a lot of external, should I call it contribution or interest, when it concerns conservation of wildlife in Africa, and that comes in with foreign dollars, it comes in with foreign presence, and almost with foreign dictation in terms of how things are going to run. Is that the preferred position that we should be in at the moment, or should it be a shared responsibility? Or do we welcome anybody who's going to come in and say, well, let's protect?
Personally, I will just give a personal view of what I think. And I think as Africans, we should be the first ones to put something in a basket. And once I am the one who has put my money in the basket, I determine the direction. So for funding which is going to come to us and is going to make us disadvantage our survival and our survival of wildlife, that should be straightforward. No, because we cannot sell our birthright, because the African elephant you see here, this is our birthright.
Right.
Okay. If its conservation is going to be dictated by somebody who has no attachment to it because you are being given money, yes, that money is temporal today, but you are going to lose a lot. So I think we need just to weigh. And there are very good philanthropists out there who are willing to contribute to our values. So we need really to be a value-driven sector, so that funding should not in any way compromise our values and the direction we want to go. If we let that happen, then the future is sustainable. But if we don't assert our values, then definitely we're off track and we'll not get the results that we want.
You know, you sit at the IUCN SSC Antelope group, right? But even while at that, one asks the question, what are some of the opportunities that this position then present to the continent in terms of new ways from policy to the public in changing the game when it comes to conservation of the antelope? You know, because when you talk about the antelope, one usually thinks it's a single animal, but it's a conglomerate of different species in there. So what does your position as the chair mean when it comes to conservation?
For me, first of all, this is it's a great opportunity that we have taken on as Africa to lead this conversation and agenda, and I think it gives us a seat of influence to now determine the course on how African leadership internationally should be viewed, to set a pace for conservation, because here we live what we talk about. So I think it gives us a great leverage that we are able not only to share our expertise, but also to let the African voices be heard at an international stage. And I think, to me, this appointment as the IUCN chair for Antelope Specialist Group is very important. And it should also inspire young Africans who are beginning their conservation journey that actually this is the direction we need to go. We need to start influencing the agenda. We need to start projecting our voices, because we are the ones managing real issues on the ground. And our contribution should be reviewed, because we are speaking from a point of reality. So to me, it's a great honor and privilege that we have this opportunity before us, and we will try to maximize it, to champion not only our conservation agenda for antelopes in Africa, but also be able to tap to bigger community, because it gives us opportunity to understand what's happening everywhere in the world as far as conservation of antelope is concerned. And we're able to benchmark now globally, bring the best practices, and continue our conservation discourse going stronger and action on the ground being impacted.
Do you reckon that it has been said for a very long time that African problems have always been handled outside this continent? That the only way the continent, Africans ourselves, will be able to sort out our problems is by having local solutions to our problems. That it is about time that everybody sat on a table and agreed on the way forward on how to address. Does this position then give Africa an opportunity to sit and agree on what needs to become policy, and that all the countries in the continent implement that? It's not just a policy that is gathering dust, but that it's being implemented for us to conserve, like what you're saying, is our birthright.
Yeah. It's quite interesting that how much solutions actually we have around us. Because, for example, take an example of managing human-elephant conflict. What are we using? Our parents are putting beehives along the elephant escape routes to destroy their crops. They are putting trenches. They are growing pepper. Surely, should you need somebody to come from outside to come and tell you how, for example, to rear bees, how to grow pepper? I think we are the solution, and we have the solution. So I think this opportunity that we have is really to start also sharing with the world our own solutions, because our own solutions work, and our own solutions actually have substance, and they have ownership, and once deployed, they can actually make a difference. So instead of somebody inserting upon you knowledge which is foreign and not well understood by you, we will be able now to contribute to the table this great conversation. And I think that's where now we promote a sense of ownership, but also to see ourselves as part of the solution of what's going on.
Really quick, I know that we talked about tourism and how that can be an income earner, but are there economic benefits around having this conversation on a local and then on a global scale?
Yes, extremely, very much, and very important, because I have a feeling that, and also when you look at some of the surveys have done, even the tourists who come here, they are not conscious about the impact they are going to create. For them, they are here to have a good time. But I'm sure if the tourist is explained to at the start of their journey, the impact they are going to create along the way, that tourist will come actually treasuring their journey. For example, when COVID hit, it was so difficult to raise financial resources to manage our protected areas. And I think that awakened everybody to know that actually our parks, our reserves are sustained by tourists. So imagine now we are able to build this into the mind of every tourist that's coming, that they are conscious their travel is going to make a difference. Do you know those people, when they travel, they will even be having a willingness to spend more because they know they are making impact in the lives of people, and they are making the lives of, they are contributing to the greater picture of conservation. Other than photographing the lion, do you understand as a tourist that there is maybe 10 or 4 rangers that actually keep taking care of this lion? So as we start building this narrative properly in the way we design our itineraries, the way the information we give to the guests, you'll find actually now people are traveling consciously, and they're able to meaningfully contribute to the conservation, but also appreciate the importance of travel and the great contribution their journeys are making.
Indeed.
Yeah.
He's the head of the Mount Kenya Wildlife Conservancy and co-chair of the IUC and Antelope Specialist Group. Dr. Robert Aruho has been our guest this hour. And thank you for, sharing those insights. A lot more goes into just, going to a national park and staring at the animals, but looking at the ecosystem of economic development, of touristic development, of science and research and conservation. Thank you for sharing those insights with us this morning.
Thank you so much for hosting us and for giving us the platform to be able to share all of this with your audience. Thank you.
For everybody who was in the Situation Room this morning, thank you for being here. We'll talk again tomorrow, God willing. Good morning. It's 10 a.m.
Spice up your life. The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning, this is Daniel Zoya. I'm Sheila Timur. A section of pro-government MPs from the Mount Kenya region have criticized National Assembly Minority Leader Junaid Mohammed over remarks on the Deputy President position, while dismissing claims that Deputy President Kithure Kindiki is facing impeachment. Led by Igamba Ng'ombe MP Patrick Munene Mwea MP Mary Maingi and Kirinyaga Central MP Gashoki Gitari, the lawmakers said those calling for Kindiki's removal were not part of the Kenya Kwanza coalition that formed the government. Speaking in Mwea, Munene said ODM has no basis to demand a deputy president post or half of the cabinet positions after joining the government through a broad-based arrangement. He added that the leaders will continue supporting Kindiki and back his 2032 presidential bid. Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru has renewed her call for issue-based politics, warning leaders against ethnic mobilization as political